So, I think it's fair to say that I've become pretty acquainted with terrible movies over the years. 44 so far, and the series is far from done yet. Honestly, I could probably keep this going until I run out of movies, if that's even an option. But either way, with us at the start of a new year, I thought it'd be worth looking back across the feeble filmography to make one final judgment. Which were truly the worst of the worst? Today we're gonna find out as we cover today's prompt live. It's the Terrible Movies tier list. A race to the bottom. Hello everybody! How are we doing today? Welcome to the first official video stream, I guess is more accurate, content of ours for 2023. Welcome! I wanted to do a sort of stream series throughout this year this time. It's kind of a New Year's resolution of mine. And I think that intro kind of wraps it all up. Today we're going to be doing a big old tier list of all of our terrible movies of the past. So, I think it's fair to say that that is the wrong screen. Don't have that playing again, thank you very much. So yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully I'll sort of build on this stream format as we continue. I feel it a little low on the camera. I spent a long time. Maybe that works. There we go, just step backwards. That's fine. How's that? Does that look alright? Do I sound okay? Is everything all functioning on this part? I think it should be. Yeah, there we go. Alright, lovely. If there is an issue with the audio, do please someone let me know. Because otherwise, it'll be slightly awkward, but oh well. Let me give myself a drink as well. That would be helpful. We'll be here for a little while. I've got a whole bunch to go through. There we go. I'm gonna be honest, I was worried in the background there. My chat just didn't update, and I'm like, is anyone here? Oh, it's because YouTube has YouTube has a separate top chat page and a live chat page. I was like, is no one here? I feel very awkward. There we go. That makes way more sense. Thank you, YouTube. You're good? We can hear you this time? Fantastic. Hello! It's nice to see some motion in the chat, and I don't have to have any insecurities going on. Hello, Nazar Bazaar, Chloe, Connor. Apparently Stream Elements, the bot is here, that's good to know. DLP, Billy here, Chana Banana, that's a great name. Hello, Emma, hello, Blockhead. How we doing? Right. You know, I was expecting something to go off. I was expecting something to go wrong, I'll be honest. I'd made preparations for in case something had, but I think we're okay. So with that in mind, let us begin with the very first trailer to go, or not trailer, the video we got to go through. I have like 44, I think, options. We've got a few different settings as well for the actual tier list design. We have FFF at the top. The whole thing's reversed backwards. So it's FFF, FE, DC, and A? Because sometimes I feel I might have made a couple terrible episodes that might have been a little bit unallowed. You know, I think I might have been too cruel to some things. YouTube, why do you keep telling me? There we go. YouTube kept trying to tell me that I was stuck on top chat. That's better. New hair check. Yes, also that's another thing. Yeah, I after 3 solid years of not getting a haircut, 2 years weren't voluntary, but there you go. I finally actually chopped it off. I'm not sure if you can tell. Doesn't go down my back anymore. So it's very, I never wanted to be that kind of guy that was like, new year, new me, but I've gone with that. So I hope you enjoy it. You'll definitely see that I look a little bit different. It's also very ironic. I just got a commissioned like PNG design of myself to put into thumbnails, which is like me doing a face palm. You might have seen in a thumbnail for this stream. But the pictures I said were just before I got the haircut. So it's I kind of did a mistake there, but oh well. It's a fine day to rank terrible movies indeed. Let's begin with our very first one, shall we? There's a lot of selection down here. I'm just going to go with whichever one pops off first and best with our stream deck here, because I've got something prepared for us. Planes movie is the first one on my list. One of the most recent ones we have done. Let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet, by the way. Planes is a film that is very recent in my memory because I did literally just cover it. And it felt, excuse the pun, very much like an airplane movie. You know what I mean? The kind of thing where you could watch it and you could enjoy it, if it's on a tiny screen in front of a seat and you're stuck to this seat for the next 16 hours anyway. It is not a Cars movie, and it's not even made by the people behind Cars. This is a Disney spin-off using Pixar's IP to make something. There were some interesting choices. I don't like the direction of the Mexican plane and his weird romantic arc, and a lot of it's kind of loses its messaging on the fact that it's like anyone could become anyone if you surgically change the aspects of your body in order to fit the bill. I think this very much accepts the terrible tag that I put on top of it, though at the same time, it's not the worst I've ever seen. The animation is clean, the voice acting is functional, it's all a bit too loud, I can fix that. Let's just bring that down, how's that? I'll just shout over it a little bit more, shall I? Also, every time I try and change my chat so I can see it there, it wants to make it so that it doesn't move. That's so strange. Oh well, planes can be our beta version of this review style. How does that sound with it a little bit lower? Do I even have anything else to say about this one? I've kind of said most of what I needed to in the main video that was literally a month ago. So it's kind of already covered the details. I'm surprised this trailer goes on for so long. Also, another note, I have manually changed it so that the whole trailer is shuffled footage. That way I don't have to deal with a copyright claim, because we got to juggle doing a stream on YouTube's terms now. There were some strange directions with like the US military being a whole aspect of the world, but at the same time, it was interesting to see. The messaging's a bit odd. I would certainly put it in front of some kids just to pass an hour and a half's time, but it doesn't really deserve the accolades of what the original Cars got, or what Cars 3 got, even though I also haven't seen that movie. I'm glad to have this movie in the dust, but I'm getting all the more suggestions, there we are, to cover the second movie in the collection, which will be a very interesting take. Because of that, I would say I should have kept the music on. I could have kept the music on for that bit. Oh well. Where even is Cars? I haven't been looking. It's not even Cars, it's Planes. Where is Planes? It should be at the beginning. There it is. Planes will be getting a solid D from me. It is fine. It is an airplane movie. Excuse the pun. That would be my conclusion. Okay, that was our beta version of how I'm imagining most of this stream to go. It will be I'll go through each movie with that format, shuffled footage, music playing. Are your ears too busted out to hear the rest of the stream? Is it all good now? I might actually flip my monitors over because I can actually see chat that way. That's so strange that YouTube doesn't want me to see a live chat. It's just boring. Exactly. It is standard. A lot of the videos we've covered have a full variety of quality is what I'm finding. Some of it is ironically very fun, and some of it is just not worth it, and that's what we will be pinpointing today. You should have a mil subs. Thank you very much. I will do one day. I am halfway. I'm almost halfway there, you know, so I'll gun for it one way or another. It's basically off-brand Cars. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, here's an idea. You can see now then that the ranking systems we have are, oh my god, it's the same thing again. There we go. I've got to learn how to use this Stream Deck properly. You can see the ranking numbers here. You know, A, if you think it actually doesn't deserve to be terrible. C, D, E, F, and triple F. If you want, make your own double F ranking. How about when I am doing mid-review, because I'm also kind of monologuing, so it's kind of hard to read chat in the moment, spam out the ranking you would give it, meaning that FFF is the worst. We have the worst stuff on the top of the tier list, and then I'd love to hear your thoughts. I can also sort of bounce off that a little bit easier. My ears were already busted, so you're good? Okay, well that's good to hear. I didn't see Planes, was not interested at all. Looks like Turbo but flying. That wouldn't be too far off, to be honest. That sounds kind of accurate to me. Sir Billi? Oh, we've got Sir Billi in the ranks somewhere. Disney did somehow rip off their own movies. It's impressive. The things that Disney company can do is very, very impressive, I must say. Anyway, with that note, I want to move on to our next prompt, shall we? What music choice shall we have? Let's have this one. Why not? With a song that fits this bill. This is another of Pixar's best, actually made by Pixar this time. This is The Good Dinosaur. Immediately, everyone gave it an E. How could you tell? Was it? Oh no, it's because that's one guy. This is Pixar's worst movie to date. So I figured it was relevant to have the terrible tag on top of it. At the same time, this movie looks nice. It is visually appealing. It is made by actual professionals in the industry, and you can tell there was an idea here, you know? What if dinosaurs still existed, and there is a wild human child? They watched Thornberrys once and decided, let's just make a whole movie out of it. It wasn't worth making a whole movie out of, you know? I'm seeing a lot of C's in there and B's. Yeah. The Incredibles is Pixar's worst movie? Excuse me, take that word out of your mouth. You should link the terrible movie reviews after the stream? I will do. I'll find a way to do that. Yes, that's a good idea. I can't redirect to videos. I can only redirect to streams, so that would have been nice. Oh well. This movie looks great, but I think it could have been fine as just a short, because there isn't any content in here. It is very mediocre. It just sort of goes. The visuals are astounding. The live action elements, the sort of, I like the reference to the other cancelled Pixar movie, Newt. There's a gecko in there somewhere. The rain effects are fantastic, but it doesn't have that much of an emotional beat. I don't think I can even do a scene breakdown on this. Maybe I can. I'll find a way somehow. Got to make content out of nothing. But it didn't hook me in the same way. And I remember when watching it while I was a little younger, when the story kept going and they dispersed from the adult dinosaurs and went on their own adventure in the final act, I was like, ugh, why can't you stick with them? Can it be over now? And it just didn't come to be, you know. I think the animation keeps it from being worse. I agree 100% on that. It is a great testament for the abilities of this studio, but otherwise it is just bad. Terrible Dinosaur will be getting an E from me. E for... Why did I start this? This doesn't work. It doesn't... Good and Dinosaur are G and D. And E would suggest everything or excellent. Oh well. That be my thoughts on The Good Dinosaur. You guys somehow slept on Incredibles 2? As in a good movie or a bad movie? Because I've kind of got it listed down here or somewhere in there. So you'll have to see a little bit for that in a moment. C, D, E, yeah, I'm getting a lot of that. Maybe I'm being a bit too harsh, but I have my opinions. Yours, I guess, will be documented in the live chat after this. You lagged for 4 seconds. That is worrisome. Let's see. It doesn't say I've dropped any frames over there. And it says I'm fine over there. That's very odd. I have, some was it the footage that froze? Because these are pre-edited segments. I'm still kind of learning my style with streams. Obviously, this is literally this is my second stream of the year. I also stream on DazzReviews 2 now, if you want to see some extra content there. I'll talk about that more at the end. But the way I've got this stream prepped up is I've edited segments without any audio, and then I plug them in. So maybe that's slowing down, because the stream's trying to play a video. Odd. The Good Dinosaur is the Ice Age baby. As in the internet loves to kick it in the face. I guess that sounds accurate, yeah. I never could even watch 5 minutes of that movie. Understandable, don't waste your time. Watch a short film. A short film would have been great, you know? That's what it should have been, a Pixar short. They do those, you know? Alright, I'm seeing a lot of chat about The Incredibles 2, so we'll just start on a whole Pixar run. That's fine. That's fine. Oh yes, I forgot you're going to play again. Also, because I just realized there was some lightning, here's an epilepsy warning for the entirety of this stream. I have also, because I've shuffled these trailer footages, there are lots of very small clips that will just be playing in quick succession, so if you are particularly sensitive to that kind of epileptic photosensitivity stuff, take this stream with a grain of salt. Maybe if I make highlights out of this later, rely on those. Just thought I'd warn you because it is shuffled. They're not too fast, but I mean, you know, trailers like to put lightning strikes in their edits for some reason. So anyway, right. What is the best song choice for The Incredibles? Let me see. Sure, that's quite nice. That's quite wholesome. It's quite jolly. Incredibles 2 is a movie people enjoyed, right? I was hyped up for this movie. This was the first movie-based content I actually made. I just finished university at the mid-2018 mark, and I wanted someone to talk about this movie so much that I did it myself. I did a whole trailer analysis. I tried to put it all together in chronological order. I love the Incredible saga. The way that they try and present a superhero movie in a family form, even though it's basically Fantastic Four with a new Pixar spin. I love it. Incredibles 1 is an shooty downy movie. Indefendable? I don't know. The opposite of that. Incredibles 2 is not a bad movie by itself. In a vacuum, it's fine. It's enjoyable. A baby with too many powers. What a plot line. But the reason I think this is a terrible movie, the way I labeled it as such, was because it's a terrible Incredibles movie specifically. With the basis of how perfect the original was and all the messaging and elements that came from that, this is not that. The element of, you know, if everybody's super, then no one is. That kind of nuance of a messaging is lost in this movie as it became more generic and underwhelming compared to its superior predecessor. Does that make sense? Violet was just reverted back to the same plotline she had in the first movie. It was an amnesia point. How boring. I especially need an epilepsy warning for this. They should not really be showing those in trailers. They've been presenting those in cinemas. That'd be causing issues. They had issues in the main cinema. I remember that. Dash, my favorite character, since when I was 6 at least, before I met Uncle Iroh, I guess. Completely irrelevant in this movie. Not around. Didn't even get a running sequence. So much opportunity was lost that I would love for there to be an Incredibles 3. I think I would love to see more of this series, even if it's just more shorts. I love Jack's attack, but this version of a plotline with these kind of twist characters, the style of the villain, and the just under-representation of your main integral characters makes this a bad, terrible Incredibles movie. But when it comes to just a movie in general, compared to everything else, I would go as far as to say, you know what? It's an A? It's not as bad as some of the stuff we'll be seeing on this list. A very underwhelming E from other people. I see. That's quite a jump, I'll be honest. Considering we have other content like Sharknado, Silver Circle, I guess Hop, you know, Nut Job 2 and Sir Billi, I don't think E would be agreeable enough for Incredibles 2, you know? Bland as heck and lack of focus. Yes, easily an F tier. You guys are harsh. I mean, I know people love to do more, like, everyone loves to be negative, especially online, but you're really hamming. You're saying Incredibles 2 is, like, one of the worst movies out of all of these, like, 50 options? No. A. I'll accept A. I'll even accept a C, because it's bland, but because it is Pixar and it is Incredibles, they have a solid basis, and I want to get some brownie points with people that get very angry at me for some of my terrible labelings. I put it as an A. There are some movies I have done in the past that have gotten me quite a bit of heated interactions because of my my poisonous spitting tongue, apparently, but oh wow. Hello, Wolf, how you doing? Right, let's move on. I don't know what I'm picking next, but we'll go with this. Ah, this does not fit the theme, but this is The Addams Family next. Another terrible movie I did quite recently. I just pressed a random button, I'll be honest. The Addams Family as well is interesting, actually, because it's kind of got the Incredibles syndrome, where it's got a good foundation. The characters in this movie are decent in their earlier form. This was very much Sony, I believe, and Warner were MGM gaining access to this incredible franchise with a lot of fun things. Netflix even recently had a play with Wednesday, and that got a lot more positive attention. This, however, is the embodiment of just weird, boring, bland, and gunning for a buck child's animation. I'm seeing a very long F already. Some of the visual gags are good. I will give it that. The fact that it's in animation gives it a good, beneficial boost of some form, because it's fun to see some things that are not physically possible, like the sun climbing up the walls like The Exorcist. But man, it's just, while there are visual gags there, the story elements and anything of meaning and nuance are just lost because they're not trying. This is just a product made to sell, and that's it. There's an E in there as well. F's and E's I'm seeing. Why is MGM even on this list? I don't know. I don't know what movie you're referring to, or are you talking about the company? Either way, some of the jokes do land. You're right. Yes, some of it is funny. I found 50% of this movie funny, or like 40. Every other joke I laughed at, and every other joke I really cringed at. I just detested. It's such a shame as well, because I don't know. It feels like there's something plausible there. And they made a sequel as well. I will probably cover the sequel this Halloween season. Spoilers, by the way, for a future upload of mine this year. But I don't know if they're going to continue with a third. They're making a lot of money, but I don't know if it's worth it. They've been getting bad reviews across the board. FFF, because it's ugly. E or D. It does look crap, though, not going to lie. Yes, I want to see a proper video that goes into this, because apparently there's even like saturation issues with this movie, that like the shadows aren't strong enough. I'm too colorblind to see these issues, but I am not colorblind enough to be able to see. Wow, what a great segue that was. Where is Addams Family? There they are. Addams Family will be getting an F. It's not necessarily black-hearted, but it is misusing a franchise to be far inferior to what it could be to make a good old buck. Welcome to the animation industry in the 21st century, eh? This is a case of it's so bad, it's slightly good. Wow, I can really see some diminishing returns on that kind of vibe of movie. It's just so meh. Yeah, exactly that. Your voice reminds me of Mr. Klemps. He does video game reviews. I get you and him confused all the time. Really? I get a lot of... I'm going to write that down, right? I get comments all the time being like, you sound just like blah, 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 blah. And then I'll look them up, and they sound nothing like me. The only part that attaches to the two of us is we are both British. And I have like a weird hybrid southern accent, and then this next guy's got a full-on Scottish accent, and I'm like, this isn't... How did you... So I'll see. Mr. Klemps better be right on my... He better have my vocal range, he better have my tone, my pitch, the resonance, it better be on top of this. Otherwise, you just can't tell the difference between a guy in one part of the island and a guy from another. Shark Tale? You want Shark Tale next? Alright, fine. We're doing all the recent ones. Eventually, I mean, I've been doing this for 2 years. You sound just like DazzReviews. Well, thank you. I feel like I've got a bit of a jazzy vibe at the moment. I'm also actually... I'm doing a bunch of tests as well. This stream is like a beta for as we roll out a format over the year. I've got, I think, 15 songs scheduled to program like into the stream. But I have to also deal with actual copyright claims, because YouTube can give a copyright claim to a stream live, because it's on YouTube. Twitch, you can get away with anything, and I'm getting used to not being on Twitch now. And I'm seeing if this works, because I've got a bunch of extended music, and I'm like, it's edited. How does it work? So I'm also building up on that. We got a bot in chat. I can fix that. If chat would not... Wow, I'm getting... This is really interesting. The moment I wanted chat to move, it was frozen from YouTube's platform, and now it is moving. Now I'm getting a bot. I love small inconveniences. Mods can delete them, yes. We have 3 mods, but 2 aren't around because I didn't tell them the stream's going on, and one of them was just watching in the background, so they might not have seen it. I can do it. Don't worry, I can juggle. Since chat's not going crazy fast, so I can keep up. Okay, let's have a go. You gonna play trailer now? No, good, I did turn it off. We're getting there. I see some marks. That's good to see. Right, what's the theme? Oh boy, for Shark Tale. Let's go with this weird song right here. There it is. I'm gonna do this on beat. You ready for this? There's your intro, and then the Shark Tale trailer plays. Wow, it's DreamWorks animation. We've been talking a chunk about Pixar and a hint of MGM. DreamWorks, however, is a fun company, isn't it? It has some high highs, and it has some low lows. I mean, Puss in Boots 2, I hear, is fantastic. How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, beautiful stuff, Prince of Egypt. And then you get things like Trolls, you get The Boss Baby, and way back in 2004 or 5, you get Shark Tale. Now this was clearly as well a reaction, I think, partially to Pixar's Finding Nemo? Or at least I remember the head behind DreamWorks left Pixar and made Ants, or Bully? No, Ants. Based off of A Bug's Life when he left Pixar. I feel like it's the same story with Finding Nemo and this. Either way, with Finding Nemo as your rival, you haven't got a chance. This movie is grimy and gringy. It's ugly. The faces are awful. Will Smith is trying, but I mean, worst DreamWorks movie F? I don't actually know what is DreamWorks' worst movie. This could easily fit into it though, because there are loads of pop culture references. You get what they're going for. But why did they make a green algae-looking Godfather movie with fish? I love Jack Black. This movie is actually very emblematic of our current discussions with the Mario movie, to be honest. We love Jack Black. What on earth is main character doing as himself, you know? I feel like it's a D. It's really bleh. I watched this so many times as a kid. I knew the sound of this movie. I'd watched it so much. I didn't realize I was listening to the voice of an actual movie director the entire time with Mr. Pufferfish. God, I forget all the information so quickly after I make a video. It's amazing for its time. It was funny. That's a good point. For its time period, the animation wasn't going to be strong. And it did have a lot of references that were dated now that made a lot of sense back then. It's weird, but it's brave. It's ugly. I will put this as a low D. I think that's the best fitting for it. Does that sound accurate? I think that's pretty fair, for the most part. Jack Black sounds nothing like Jack Black when playing Bowser, and it freaks me the hell out. Dude's a voice actor. Surprise, surprise, that guy's got talent, you know. D will have to do, a low D. Martin Scorsese, that's the one, that's his name. Put it to D, it's because it's silly yet ugly, yeah. I think that's I think people have got a pretty, we can come to agreements on that. Although, gosh, you guys, you see, I think you guys really want there to be some top tier stuff. There is, but they are like, yeah, this is some of the older stuff, you know, that I've gone through in the past. It's funny, I've done so many terrible movies, I've been like expanding what I define as terrible over the years. I've gotten a bit of hate for it, but I mean, I'll find things, I'll try and find a variety, you know? Like, what was the first terrible I made? Oh, it was Hoodiwnked 2. I guess that's terrible, but like, you know, I think I found a jackpot when I tried to do, you know, Attack on Titan live action and Silver Coin Circle over here, you know? Whereas when I made, you know, Storks, I might have been reaching, you know? So I'm keeping a bit of a reserved stance now, because we get into some serious FFF territory in a bit. Right, Incredible Bulk, Cat in the Hat, Ugly Dolls. Ooh, okay. I see your demands, and I raise you an option. Let's see. Let's go with this song. Where are all your options? Where'd they go? Hold on. What's the most fitting with this theme? Let's go with that one. Ugly Dolls. It's the first one I was able to actually find on my damn Stream Deck. Ugly Dolls is interesting. Was this made by... Who was this made by? Like Sony or something? Or like a spin-off production? Either way, it looks okay. You can see there's details in the fabric designs. The like lighting is relevant. Like it's clean. It's was it the same guys that made Angry Birds? I don't know. I can see how this was successful. It's got all of your classic tropes. It's a musical sort of pop. I think it was a jukebox musical actually. Got a whole bunch of celebrities involved, and it looks nice. It is functional, clearly aiming for kids, doesn't really care about the messaging. However, the messaging is, it's okay to be ugly. And they went with the cleanest, nicest, most imperfect, perfect design they could come up with. It just underlines the entire messaging they were going for. Like, how can you make that kind of mistake? It is incredibly bland, and its blandness is what takes away from the idea of it. It is, you can't make an Ugly Dolls movie where they look fine. What's her issue? She's got a clump of hair and she's not even plus size because everyone is blob shaped. They went into some strange directions with like how there's like human people, I think. Oh yeah, and the backgrounds kept disappearing. I forgot that. They always made it so that the backgrounds just vanished whenever there was a musical number because they didn't want to put it in for some reason. Like, why would you not? This movie is a bit of an enigma. Like, I don't know how that works. Whoops. What did I just do? I pressed nothing. The plot was so shallow, I was actually shocked when I watched it. Yeah. They aren't ugly. They talk about wearing glasses as being ugly when it's not. Yeah, like, I get the idea behind that. They were going for, you know, what kids actually have to deal with. Very, you know, I mean, I guess they could tackle, like, buck teeth as well, because kids do deal with that sometimes, but they just didn't. But it just didn't work with the animation style. They lost it entirely, you know? Moxie's head thing exists. Dazz, it's just hair. Exactly! I forgot hair existed. I thought they were made of hair. They looked all pretty fabricy to me, you know? Hello, Luke. Dazz did just flip, yes. Because I flipped my monitors, I was always looking away from the screen. So I tried to do some graphical things. Anyway, with that in mind, Ugly Dolls, with its slightly incorrect thumbnail design, they didn't actually go with this Rotten Tomatoes design, it'll be getting an E. It lost... Oh, so Good Dinosaur was bland, should have been the story. Ugly Dolls, also pretty, but its idea undermined the messaging. So yeah, we're gonna put it there. I could actually show you, maybe, at another point, all the variations on thumbnails. I've got about 30 thumbnail alternatives for each one of these. Like, very small things, like the Titanic over here used to be diagonal until I changed it. I've got, like, every different character in all of these thumbnails. So, Rotten Tomato logos sometimes and other times not. Maybe I'll go through that. Maybe for another stream. It would most likely be, actually, if we did a stream like that, it would be on the DazzReviews 2 channel. So, hey, if you're not subscribed here, you better subscribe. If you're not subscribed to my second channel, have a look into the description. It is linked down below because I'm going to be streaming there as well multiple-ish times a week, especially going into February. The streams on DazzReviews 2 are going to be much more casual. This is kind of like production quality and I have a goal. This is essentially a video in long form. But DazzReviews 2 will be more of a hangout, see behind the curtain a little bit. Maybe we'll play just games that aren't relevant to movies. If you'd like to see a little bit more of me and get a little more involved in the community side of things, give that a subscribe, and I'll see you there. Anyway, there's my brief little plug for you there. Oh no, it's Ugly Dolls again. Hold on, I gotta dig through multiple files. There we go. Let's move on to a new song. I've only got so many, so I am gonna run out after a while, but we'll go with it. Oh, you know what fits for a racing theme tune? It's Turbo. DreamWorks' other project. I guess we're kind of on a DreamWorks theme. We're certainly on a Turbo theme right now. Turbo was interesting, because I remember not having any interest in watching it when I heard it existed in cinemas. And I feel like that was the case for a lot of people. I don't think, you know, it didn't get a sequel for a reason. But as a movie, gosh, I don't know. That's not the end of the trailer. It's just shuffled. It's interesting, because I think there's a surprising, I think, fan base for this movie. There's some nice effects, like, the visuals are good. It's a weird theme that's coming on with the later years of terrible movies, is you can't just blame it on bad visuals, because the animation is good. The Turbo games went so hard. Is that a thing? I might get into that. I might look into that. But I just... the Turbo game on the phone for mobile, I'll have to seriously look into that. The animation for these guys went hard. It is DreamWorks. It is good, but it's just the weirdness of the story. At the same time, this is one of those movies that I got a little bit of disgruntlings for calling it terrible. I thought this was actually the worst of DreamWorks movies. It might have been the least profitable or something like that. I feel like I do want to play a game out of this, actually. A racing game where you're tiny sounds really fun. Sounds like a mixture of Mario Kart and Pikmin, you know? I didn't like some of the jokes, like how he's got like the whole radio tune coming out of his lit up eyes, and it goes into like a strange racing tournament talking to humans element. It's weird. It's all about nitro hearts. I'm half remembering this only when I look at the visuals, but it's just very strange. This is canon. You guys, Deadpool is the snail? What? What? It's just a movie you forget, in my opinion. Yeah! I mean, I've already forgotten it in the time it's taken me since... Like, when did this come out? In the summertime and I made a video on this? It's fine. It looks nice. Again, you can just stick it in front of your kids and pass the time. It is not grand. It is not a DreamWorks greatest hits. It is just another movie. It's Snail literally on steroids. You're right. It's pretty good in terms of visuals. The plot is a bit messy, and the message is terrible. What even is the message? I don't remember the message. What were they going for? What was the idea? I have no idea. D, because concept is kind of okay, but the story is so predictable, yeah? I mean, it has Netflix and Deadpool. Nick Fury and Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds? Oh, you're right. It is Ryan Reynolds. I don't even remember the voice actors. This movie is so, like... It's like it tries to be forgotten. I think, also because there's a bit of a gap in the ranks so far, I will be giving Turbo, where is it? There he is. God, it's like a maze trying to read my own tier list. We'll give it a C. It's bland, but it doesn't ruin its messaging. And there's a fan base to it. It's enjoyable. Hello, does this have text-to-speech?
Have you watched the film Matilda the Musical, or the series of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared yet? They might be my favourite recent films, shows.
No and yes. I am a big fan of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Always used to watch it as a kid. Well, actually, kind of yes. I watched it when it first came out. I loved it on the YouTube series, and I did recently watch the new TV series, which was really interesting. I could get into the elements of that. Just, yeah, very fun. I'd love to help with that. I'd love to show up. If there was a museum of that, I'd be very into it. As for Matilda the Musical, I haven't seen it, but I've just learned of one of the songs from a TikTok, of all things, where they went into, what was it? It was like the alphabet song, and they had hidden the letters of the alphabet throughout the whole song lyrics, like ancient-ish history. It was very cool. I like that a lot. So yeah, there's my opinions on that. I'm trying to make actually an effort of watching a whole bunch more movies for the year in the hopes of taking some references into what I make. So here's like a list of, here's a notes for you, if it will focus. Here's a bunch of movies I watched this year so far. Hoping to watch at least one a day, constantly through the time, and that'll be one big post at the end of the year. Thank you for the super chat. And so on. Also, someone was asking just before we got into the Turbo thing, why did I move from Twitch? That was it. Twitch just has a lot of issues, and like, ironic, because YouTube's recently come under fire for a lot of like, issues going on with other YouTubers, but I was like making a choice of, I can't grow on Twitch, and I don't like some of the limitations Twitch has. Twitch doesn't even allow you to stream in 1080p because it's prioritized to the people on the top. I was part of the top 10%, I think, of the website, but that meant nothing because I had 20 views. 20 views is top 10%. And it's like, it's all, you know, it's not a big powerhouse like YouTube. It can't afford to process everyone's streams correctly, so it prioritizes. You can't grow on the platform unless you get people from other... I thought it would just be way easier to bring people to me. Nope, other way around. Bring me to the people and just stream directly on YouTube. I like the way it works better, and the only caveat is I have to deal with not swearing, which is an issue for other YouTubers because that's the old style. I don't swear anyway, mostly, unless it's comedic effect. I can easily avoid that issue. And the other issue with YouTube streaming is copyrights, which I am very familiar with how to handle, and so I'm handling it, you know? The trailers we show, they're shuffled, so copyright won't get me. The music I play is edited, so it don't get me. And I'm trying to make it more original looking content so that they don't get me. I just don't want to get got. Plus, also, when copywriting happens on stream, I think it just temporarily blocks the stream being seen by new people, and then it fades away. Or at least when Ludwig had issues, he just turned off the stream and turned it on again, and it was fine. So yeah, YouTube is better because it's here where I spend most of my time. Exactly, yes. I tried to watch Twitch streams. I don't have time for it. I have time for YouTube videos. And even then, actually, I'm trying to cut down on YouTube videos to watch my damn streams all the time. But there you are. Why isn't Frozen 2 on this list? That's a good point. I don't think I made a terrible video out of it. That's why. This is specifically terrible videos I've made. I did a new review. Oh, well, there's that trailer playing again. I did do a new review on Frozen 2. Excuse the rhyming. Maybe I should do that. Terrible Frozen 2. Yeah. You know what? Next winter season, I think we'll hop on that. Right. Let's move on, because I have, you know, with 44 movies to cover and 2 minutes of trailers for each, we've got an hour of reviewing to get through. So let's get through some stuff, shall we? Let's go with a real stinker this time. I've got the best music prepared for it. Oh, just listen to that theme. We're going to talk about Silver Circle. I didn't even realize it was called Silver Circle for the longest time. I thought it was called Silver Coin, because that's what it's all about. This is a weird production. If you haven't seen my video on it, I doubt you've seen this film full stop, and you are living a blessed life because of it. This is a strange, indie, under-budgeted political message, a PSA for a boogeyman that doesn't necessarily exist. It's some sort of American right-wing concern about the economy. I feel like this is just crypto bros before cryptocurrency existed. Some sort of plot about this gas going exorbitant? Big word. Going big number. And so they wanted to get silver, because that has intrinsic value over the economy of the banking system, Bureau of Money. I don't know. And then they're rebels fighting against the government. Elon Musk is there. I mean, he looks like Elon Musk. And I don't know what's going on. This is not a video game. No, DLP. This is a movie I watched for 2 hours and then spent a further 10 hours editing. That was my life. I'm even going to play it again because it was so bad. If you haven't seen these visuals before, soak them in. Because this was hours and hours and hours of my time. I reviewed it. I tried to understand it. I'm a bit too British to understand the Federal Bureau of US Economy Logistics or whatever. But it is just... Oh, it's one of the... Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, forget about this. I'm lying. This is just a GTA 6 prototype video. Yeah. It's not far off, is it? It's... The guy dies by train and the movie ends. Believe that to be the ending, you know? What kind of a business room looks like that? Why is it so bland and untextured? I get what it was going for, but just nah. When did this movie release? I think like 2013? And then it was hidden online. I had to find this movie. And then someone randomly linked it to me. That was right. It had been taken off off the internet. You couldn't buy it physically. The website, was closed. And then someone had sent some sort of link online. And then they messaged me on Instagram to grab it. A whole thing. That was our experience. So with that in mind, with the best music choice... So many people didn't suggest this movie because I don't even think you recognized it. That will be our very first Triple F movie. Mwah. What a miracle. I'm so glad I have this career. It really pays off sometimes, doesn't it? It really pays off sometimes. If you haven't seen that video, highly recommend it. I think I had fun with it. I don't entirely remember anymore. But... give it a look. This is also, I guess, an excuse to not only self-advertise, but show off some other elements of terrible content that you might not have seen before. Also, as well, if your terrible juices are running around in your head and you want to give some suggestions, do visit our Discord, where we have a specific channel for that. I get a lot of terrible suggestions, and they're all based on different things. Like, some people just want to see more planes, so they suggest planes too. Some people want more of this weird, underground, chaotic-looking Silver Circle movie. There's a whole variety. And also, well, I get a lot of live-action options recently. So I might dabble this year in live-action terrible movies. I'm trying to brush this out my face, and it doesn't work when I've got headphones on. There we go. That's a bit better. It burned your eyes. You're welcome. I'm glad I could assist. Blame that one person who messaged me on Instagram. Looks like a worse version of the old 3D CGI Spider-Man show. CGI Spider-Man show? Which one was this? I don't know this one. Right, I dropped my bottle lid a solid like 5 minutes ago. I guess I'm just drinking it there now. Alright. What is that thing on your chair? So, if I can face the right way. This is a reflector. Just a big old circle of light to reflect to make things look nicer. I just have it around because I can't package it back. It folds into like a tiny little zip-up thing. I couldn't get it in anymore. So it just lives in my room. It used to just be leaned against the couch back there, but I decided I'd put it on there. This is my attempt at set design. How did I do? Like, there are elements going on. There's something there. You know, that's a big Paper Mario Piranha Plant decoration. Look at that. Maybe you'll see more of him in a bit. Would that include the Little Mermaid 2023? As in, like, terrible movies to suggest? Feel free to. I mean, I don't think it's terrible yet. It hasn't come out yet, but you never know. Are there any upcoming movies that are terrible? There was Puss in Boots 2, which hasn't come out here. Mario movie might be, but I'm less thoughtful on that. Spider-Verse 2, probably not. I mean, hey, if there is a new movie that's terrible, I'd love to cover it, you know? Dazz, have you seen Inside Job? No, I haven't. Crash Bandicoot? What is that? I get a bit suspicious. That's got a suspicious sounding title. Mario Supremacy? I thought it looked like a planet. I thought this was a pizza. What kind of pizzas are you eating? It's silver. It's a silver circle. Oh my god, my life's changed. I didn't realize that movie influenced me as much as it had. This is the future of US economy. You just don't understand. Oh yeah, there was also a thing in that old movie that there was like an actual US political figure who popped up, but he's got very controversial tags to him, including being involved in the January 6th Capitol riots. It was a whole thing. Puss in Boots 2 is actually really good. I have heard so many good things, and it is not out yet. I am very disgruntled. Doesn't come out till February here. I've got at least 2 more weeks to see it, and I won't make a review on it because everyone's already on it. I might make a scene breakdown though. We'll see. Alien pizza. I see. Right. Well, I'm glad we got all that established. Okay. What other songs do I have available? Have I done everything here? Let's go. Ooh, this is nice. Sure. Nice theme. And the movie today shall be one that equally gives such kind of astounding views. I am, of course, talking about Lionsgate's Norm of the North. Clearly, the embodiment of beauty, astounding and blowing everyone out of the water, or I guess the ice in this case. This movie is an enigma of memes, to the point I can't even tell, and I don't think anyone can, whether the Twitter account for this movie has been hacked by a meme lord, or it's trying to be a meme lord. It is a interesting display. Clearly it's that same kind of cheap-ish animation that knows what it's doing, ideas that are trying to be funny, but then you've got like that guy who just like animates like a weird octopus has possessed a human. He looks like Octodad half the time. The polar bear Fortnite dancing movie. Yes, that's the one. With strangely proportioned humans of varying variety that are not consistent, and a movie where, in Antarctica, where the ice caps you'd think would be melting, or something of a climate variety is being addressed. No, it's a matter of human real estate that is the integral core of this plotline. Humans moving to Antarctica, and that's damaging the lands enough to have to chase them to New York, with Bill Nye, the bird guy, lingering around. It's just strange. Illymation is there. I remember that was a joke I had going on. And then did they make more? No, I don't think they made more. Yeah, it's Norman time, clearly. It is a marketing strategy, I believe. Why is there a marketing strategy for a movie that's already out? They don't do that anymore. It's been like 4 years at least, right? Did it know what it was doing, this movie? I don't know. This movie was just memes, bro. A whole bunch of memes piled up in an hour-long segment. I loved the part where the, whatever they're damn called, the little gerbil guys peed for 45 seconds. I tried to make a green screen joke about the fact that they peed for so long, and it got a copyright claim because I was using too much footage at once. Like, it was a whole thing. Why is that orca on an iceberg? You can look at every frame of this and come up with a question for each. Why is he wearing clothes? And then why is he not? Why is she shot with just her legs? Why does he move like that? What is he doing? There is... that's the norm. Thanks, Carlos. What a great contribution. They made so many of these movies. You're right. They did make like 4 sequels, didn't they? Oh, God, I have to cover this more. Ironically, I made this video in like September, which was not the correct theme, considering it's clearly an icy, wintry movie. So maybe this Christmas, I'll cover all the Norm sequels. Someone please save me. There's 3 Norm movies? There might be 4, maybe 3 sequels. I can't remember. Either way, I won't be able to forget this movie. It is somehow stuck into some element of meme culture, and it's just... Ugh. I'm peeing right now. Thank you, DLP. I'm glad you can be influenced so easily to a movie of this high a caliber, as the music seems to be suggesting. He's there to save his home or become the most popular celebrity with his friends that aren't really there for most of it. There's a love interest briefly, and he's got a super cool dance move. It's a weird movie. Dazz, there is a lot of bad DreamWorks movies. There are! I've covered most of them. Oh, those are lemmings. That's their name. I forgot them. Right. I don't even have anything else to say at it. It's just so strange. At the same time, it did bring in an ironic sense of comedy. People found a lot of joy in this franchise, and maybe for that, it loses an element of its terrible labeling. Perhaps... No, I wasn't being too harsh on it. It was very much a bad movie. But I will come to our final point a little nicer than maybe most intended. It's not the worst thing ever seen. I'll put it. Ooh, where do I put it, actually? Is it worse than Shark Tale? They're both trying to be funny. But this one is a little less dated because it's a little later. We'll go with that. It's going to get a D from me. It looks cheap. There is a Normal and All fan club. That gives it some sort of intrinsic value, I guess. Maybe. I think that's my conclusion. Bit of a weird one. I knew it was terrible and embraced it. Exactly, yeah. To be fair, when I watch these terrible movies, I'm enjoying myself. You know? I'm not necessarily there crying into my hands, suffering like, I try to find it funny. I watched a reviewer who ranked videos from -10 to 10, and when it was in the negatives, he said, you know, if it's -10, it's a fantastic movie for all the wrong reasons. It's ironically great. It's ironically fun. And I think that's what Norm the North falls under. Good Dinosaur is worse. Oh, you're right. I have got that. Oh, well. I think maybe it's because it's because it's Pixar. We'll say it's worse. It's more egregious. Please do a review of Guardians of the Gahul, the owl movie made by the same company that made Happy Feet. I think it's on my list. I've got a long list of videos to plan for this new year. Actually, I've got videos planned until the beginning of July already. I've got them all slotted out. I'm actually doing a really chaotic thing. I've learned that it takes me, maybe this breaks a little bit of the immersion, but I'll go with it anyway. It takes me 2 to 3 hours to fully write a scene breakdown video. I'm planning to change the format anyway, so it's a bit better. Always trying to upgrade. But because it only takes me 2 to 3 hours, I usually bash out 3 scene breakdown videos in one day on like a Saturday, and then it's like, oh, cool, that's the next 2 weeks of work done until I do terrible episodes or cancelled or whatever. Because it takes me a day to do 3, and I've got January kind of off. January, I'm backlogging. I'm not going to do any major video uploads. I'm just going to be working on videos and then send them out later. So I've already done 4, so don't worry. I was like, why don't I spend an entire week, an entire 7-day period, writing 3 videos every day? I've got that planned. I think I'm doing that from like 21st to the 28th or something. So I'll be busy then. I probably won't stream. During that time, I will then have 21 videos fully made, and that stretches us out to the beginning of July. There will still be other things like terrible episodes and like more stuff, but it will be like every other video is a scene breakdown that I mostly wrote in the same 1 week. So no relevant memes will be in those videos, or I'll add them in later. So there you are. Yeah, golly, 3 hours dedication. 3 hours is easy. I was always a bit of a boffin in school. I could easily write an English essay. So that's basically what the scene breakdowns are. It's just an English essay with some clips in between. But I'm going to change it up, and you're going to see some upgrades, and I hope you enjoy it. Perhaps there's even a hint to that going on in this stream already. Who knows? Okay, right. The Alpha and Omega movies are awful. I have seen people mention about it. I have not seen it myself. One day I will. I'll be doing this for the end of time, you know? So, there you are. Okay. Let's go with this one. I haven't used this song yet. Ooh. Let's go with... yeah. SpongeBob. The SpongeBob movie. SpongeBob is an old character, you know? They have been around for many a years, and they will continue to be on our screens. But I very much think the peak of SpongeBob has been behind us. The original SpongeBob movie, beautiful. Seen as the canonical ending to the entire saga, I believe is what the original creator said. No matter what else they do from here, the first movie will always be the final one of the entire thing. But SpongeBob 3, Sponge on the Run, I would not say that's the same. E's and F's I'm already seeing. This movie, you know, it's enjoyable. Kids will enjoy watching it. It is fun to play with. It's very highly saturated. Lots of visual gags. Nice to see SpongeBob in the new 3D design all the way through. But at the same time, it is black-hearted at its core. I think that's what's most important, because this was created as one big advertisement for Camp Coral, the prequel show that the creator, Steven Hillenburg, never wanted to exist. Didn't want a prequel, didn't want a spin-off, and then they just, the moment he died, made this. It is a black-hearted project with a nice design, but boy has it not got the magic of the originals. It's got some references to try and bring it back to that, but God, it's just a whole thing. Also, I'm not sure if that's going to pop up. We'll see. Thank you for the super chat. If I'll have a read on that in a second in case it pops up here in text-to-speech, but thank you, I appreciate that. Wasn't Snoop Dogg in this movie? Yes, they were.
Hey, Dazz. Not much on a tip, but just to say I appreciate a lot your work. Great hugs from a Brazilian fan. Please pray for our democracy.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank thank you for calling out on that. I'm not used to getting praise. I'm not used to getting these kind of messages, you know. I see it all the time from other creators, and I don't know, I don't have the opportunity to because I don't stream very much. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. I hope things go well on your end as well. Also, was that a different text-to-speech voice? That was very strange. Either way, yes, Snoop Dogg was in this movie. That's what I was saying before. Not even Snoop Dogg could save it? I agree. Spongebob 3 looks nice, sounds nice, voice acting is grand, but the elements behind it, the black-heartedness at its core, makes it even worse than Ugly Dolls on the messaging delivery, because they really should have known better. Gosh, maybe that's quite harsh on me. I'm saying that Shark Tale is better than Spongebob 3? Oof. I don't like the message at the bottom, you know? The people behind it, I disagree with. Super Chat is too quiet? Okay. Thank you for letting me know. I will have a slight doodle at that. Where could I fix that? I might have to fix that, later. I might have to do that in my alert system. So next time a Super Chat comes in, also I realize it takes like a solid minute to come through, I will mute the music. Thank you for letting me know. As I said, this is like a beta stream, so I'm working out the kinks as we go along. You know how it is. Cool. Snoop Dogg was in a SpongeBob movie? Oh, yeah. And so was David Hasselhoff. And, Antonio Banderas. And, Hank from Detroit Become Human. What a surprise that one was. Never would have seen that coming. I like the scene transition. Thank you. Yeah. I suddenly just heard a noise from behind me. Freaky. Yeah. I try to do some production things. I'm trying to not do easy streams. It makes things very awkward for myself because I keep doing production stuff. It keeps taking up so much of my time. But yes. Doing things. Be good. Oh, well. Let's move on to a new thing. Do I have a song I haven't used yet? Possibly not. I think we might have done everything. So I'm just gonna... We'll see. I'll test things out. Let's do a new movie with this vibe. Sure, that will be... Either one of these will fit, to be honest. Oh, Illumination! Who'd have thought? Another studio. More terrible content. Pixar will rarely make a terrible movie. DreamWorks, maybe 50-50, depending on the time period. But Illumination, they know what they are doing. They have a goal in mind and they follow through with it. Because they go for the common denominator half the time. And it works. I understand 100% why they do things like they do. But boy, is it frustrating half of the time. You know what I mean? The Secret Life of Pets is the embodiment of pandering / just trying to entertain the middle-aged family dynamic, you know? The parents love, I have a dog. They do that. But the messaging, you know, it's about putting a show in front of a kid, it being entertaining, it looking nice, and making all the damn profits in the goddamn world out of it. It works, which is the most deflating thing, because you've seen this movie before. It's just a cliche of what we already know. It's just the foundational elements all put together. It doesn't strive to do too much more. This was their best joke. That's the most original bit. That got all sorts of cackles when I watched it. But other than that, it is just Illumination to a T. They hit gold with Despicable Me 1, and then they stopped trying to a certain extent after that. They made a second one of these. Okay, and I mean, to be fair, the idea is interesting. What do your pets get up to in the secret? But, like, it was just filled with naff jokes, Kevin Hart as the villain pooping everywhere, very funny. It's not as bad as the Minions. Yes, it is not the absolute worst of Illumination. It is very much a standard Illumination, I think. It has a premise, it has an inkling of creativity, but the delivery and the execution is just not there. It's Toy Story only with pets? I've never thought of it that way, but you're incredibly right. Wow. How'd I never think that through? This is a better version of some of the other Toy Story copies, but it's quite flawed. And it also has sausage party jokes. Yes. I think I, too, will be following through on giving this either a C or a D. Actually, yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. Where... God, well, come on, eyes. You can find a dog. Where's the dog? There he is. I'm blind, if that wasn't clear already. We'll put you as a C. Are you better than Turbo? You entertain a lot of people. You look nice. You're fine. You're mediocre. You're fine. It will be whatever. Now, I've just come to the realization as well that my background has slightly vanished, so one of my lights are turned off. I've got some new LED panels, by the way. I'm going to do some, like, filming stuff, show off some colors. There's blue on my face. I'm trying some things. Let me just quickly adjust that, and then I'll be right back. I never care about my background usually. That looks very huge. What's going on there? I'm not a set designer. I don't do this naturally. But I thought it was nice to have a ping of color, even though I've literally chosen white. It's whatever. It's a beta stream. It's fine. I'll work it out as we go. Alright. Yeah. Where was I? We were talking about Secret Life of Pets. How many have we done so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. Excuse my waddling. It's very... I've got a green screen here. I can't rubble... Shush. Okay, we're about a quarter of the way done. So I'm gonna have a brief break. Just for a moment. Get myself some breath, because apparently I've tired myself out. I've got 2 of these green screen bars, which means I'm constantly hopping every time I... Oh my god, I just shook my whole computer setup. Alright, you're staying center, aren't you? Yeah, okay, cool. I have to hop all the time I go to my office. Also, if it wasn't clear, I'm standing up. This is my seat. I have a stand-up desk set up. I will be standing for the majority of this stream, because I adjusted the camera, and now that means I'm like a tiny little dude whenever I sit down for streams. I've made a mistake, so excuse me. Hey, I am not the duck song duck. I did not just waddle away, waddle waddle. It looks so good, it'll only improve. Thank you, DLP. I love the optimism. I am so excited for this new year, because I've got 1,000,001 plans going forward, and I really hope it pays off. I've got some really strong New Year's resolutions for, like, the kind of content I want to make this year. I really hope it pays off. At the very least, there is going to be a more solid stream presence alongside movie presence. In fact, I'll even tell you, right? We are starting content again, properly uploading in February. Now, usually in the past, I will spend the first half of the year, until basically to July, making 1 video a week, and they're kind of casual, they're kind of experimental. It's where I'll try out new series. And then in September, usually in December, I'll go double uploads. But then one year I did November and December, double uploads, and it did much better. And then this last year gone, I did September, October, November, December, double uploads all the way through. And in doing so, for 4 full months, I learned how to do that sustainably without snapping my spine in half. So from February onwards, for the whole year, except August, because I might be busy, I'm going to be doing double uploads. And then on top of that, for every double upload, I will do a stream the next day based off of that video beforehand. Most likely it will be like movie streams, but that will cover Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday? Oh, did I not do Fridays? Oh, and then maybe Fridays are casual streams on DazzReviews too. This is apparently the symbol. I hope this isn't a gang sign for or something funky. But that will be potentially the schedule for the future in stream format, which will be very fun. And then I'm upgrading all of the formats. I want to do some new things with the channel style. And then we'll see where it goes. I look forward to it. I'd love to look back and see where we are in a year. And hopefully I don't just give up on streaming, put away all these LED panels that I bought, and then just call it a day. Look at this. It blew. Yeah, that's magical. I could do so many... wow. Green screens, IRLs. Fun ideas. You look so stylish. I love it. Thank you. I've also, to be fair, in real life, I've also been handling some changes. So I realize I've got broad shoulders. So I'm like, I need to get more clothes that accentuate shoulders. So I've gotten a bunch of blazers and like overcoats. Overcoats is apparently my vibe. Anyway, that's enough of a break, isn't it? We'll get on to things now, shall we? I think that's a good idea. Don't burn out either. Yes, I'm specifically working on ways to make it sustainable so that I don't burn out. You'll see. Okay. Let's get rid of you. We'll have a new song next, shall we? Okie dokie. What's I think I have. I don't reckon. Oh, actually, let's do these three. These are new ones. So yeah, let's go with this song next and this trailer. I'm talking about a movie in the middle of its franchise, but it's one that perhaps deserves this thematic notion. Because I'm talking about the third in a series of 4, where only the first one was good. I'm talking about, of course, the Halloween-themed Addams Family spin-off. That's not Addams Family, but Addams Family wished it was this series. I'm talking Hotel Transylvania 3. This movie, this movie is an enigma. I wanted to cover Hotel Transylvania 4 at the time, just Halloween just gone. I couldn't, because it wasn't available. It had been delayed till January time, which very strange. That was ages ago. However, this movie is an element of Chinese whispers, I guess, where the original was solid, strong, with a style to it. Then it got changed to this weird warped version for the second, and then warped all the more into something almost unrecognizable from the first, with its weird directorial animation styles, which is fine. I love that. The visuals are fantastic. The story and characters... No, not the story. The characters are fantastic. In a bottle. The ideas of them. That got me so many thumbnail views. It just happens. The internet goes that way. However, the thing that really, really, really drags this movie down is the fact that, oh my god, there is no story to this movie. It is a cartoon, like a Saturday morning cartoon for kids, but it goes so far into that aesthetic that it ruins the integrity of watching the movie at all. It is entertainment for entertainment's ideas alone. It entertains your kids for a couple of hours in the morning, and then you don't have to think about anything else, and that's such a shame, because it really looks like it could have been good. The ideas are there, not in story form, but character. The directing, I am in love with. I love seeing such a slapstick cartoon, and yet here it is, funky looking, and just telling nothing. Instead, it's just cringy, weird. The music choices at the end are interesting. And of course, because it's so much of a kids' movie, it doesn't kill a single person. Your super big bad villain who's been chasing you for centuries, or a century, is then survived at the end, added to the ensemble that's already too bloated that you can't actually explore any of your characters. It's just a cacophony mess of a cartoon that's trying to be something and lost its way while doing so. And that is the tale of Hotel Transylvania 3. And that is why I will be placing it as... it had so much potential. But no. This is one of the worst on our list so far. God, it makes me grumble. And then they made a TV series and it was even worse, you know? Oh, you're looping. I didn't think you would loop. There we are. You know, it's just one of those things. You want to see movies succeed, and then sometimes they just... I feel like a disappointed parent when it comes to Hotel Transylvania, because I really like the first one. Not to mention the dance at the end. Oh, don't even get me started on dance parties. They're in so many movies. I actually watched a movie recently that had a good dance party at the end, and it was surprising. But yeah, that's just a cheap dance. Like, it's a cheap animation ending that's been going on. DreamWorks started it with Shrek. How did we fall from grace from there? I don't know. Oh well. One of those things, eh? One of those things. They have a TV series on it? Yeah, they do. It's like a 2D... I think Mavis is the protagonist, and it's all 2D. Like cartoon, actual cartoon. Very boring. I'll cover it one day. That sounds like a great idea. I don't think I've actually written that down. I totally should. Hotel Transylvania spin-off TV show. There we go. I will 100% make that a thing. Puss in Boots 2 as a musical start? Well, you can do them well. We'll see. It advanced before Toy Story? Or the dance party? You know what? I could make a whole video based on the dance party, can't I? Emoji Movie. Rio apparently has a dance. A good one? Okay. They're all doing cringy-ass dance parties at the end, yeah. Shark Tale as well. DreamWorks loved their dance parties. They're the ones that pushed it all off, you know? Did you make any videos on the Sonic movies? I did. I think I made 3 in the same year, last year. We don't have a terrible Sonic movie in this list, though. But yeah, absolutely. Look up DazzReviews Sonic, and it's there. I also used to make old videos about a potential Sonic movie back in like 2016, no, it would have been like 2017, 18, 19. Give it a look. I'll be curious to see what I said. I tried to imagine as well a Nintendo cinematic universe, because they announced a Pokemon game and then a Sonic game, and I was like, what if they... And the Mario movie existed. So I was like, what if they make a Nintendo-ish or a Smash Bros. Cinematic universe? How would they do it? How would you represent Star Fox and Pikmin and Pit and Kid Icarus and all that? It was very interesting. I'll have to look back on that video one day. Be very curious about it. Alright. All those cringy dance sequences wished they were Shrek. They do. Alright. Let's have a look for another. Pixels is totally as well another terrible movie I could cover one day. I'll think about it. Right. Yeah, I'll go with these new ones I've got. My last new songs before we'll have to start repeating. This is a longer intro than I thought. There it is. Home Alone. Not just Home Alone. The Home Alone reboot, of all things, is something that had to grace all of us in the year of 2021. And you know what? Boy, oh boy, did they grace us with some content out of it. But I think I'll have to come back to that real quick because of this. Thank you for it, though.
What's up, Dazz? I'm hanging out IRL with Creative Sushi and Davo Gato.
Oh, yay!
RN. How are you?
I'm doing good.
VE.
Hello, how you doing? Weird circumstances to be chatting. Hi, how you doing? I hope you're all having a good time. Hi. I've got not much to say. I would like to pop up more on the Discord more. I keep not doing it for some reason. I keep forgetting what I want to say. Like, just hope you're all doing well. I got things to tell you later on. Remind me that I got things to tell you. Thank you for the super chat to tell me, though. One way to get my attention, I guess. I'm trying to read chat, but it's moving. Why am I like this? Why can I not speak in social situations? It's fine. I'm fine. Strangers, man, they freak me out. Does anyone else have this issue? Is it only me? I've been toiling away for ages thinking about if I ever had to go to like an influencer party, because I am fine talking to people the second time in person. Does that make sense? I just can't. I need to have a scripted point to be like, hello, thank you, you've addressed me again for the first time. Here is a professional statement I can say that has no compromises and no worries. I'm just shy, yeah. I found out I was literally... Well, didn't need to find this out. I was born shy. The first, emotions I could express to my mother was, I am shy and I am uncomfortable around strangers. Not because the strangers are bad. I was always the shy kid in the corner. So one day I'm going to go to, an influencer party, and I'm going to just, fill up entire buckets with my armpit sweat. I look forward to it. I'm trying. That's actually... I was mentioning resolutions earlier in the video, in the stream. One of the resolutions is to get out there, socialize, do a networking speed run, if you know what I'm saying. But bloody hell is it out of my comfort zone. I think I'd be fine actually on a video call now. But I only recently was able to go on the phone to say I need a plumber, we have a leak in our ceiling. I'm a big boy now. I made it to 26. I could do these phone calls. God, why did I go on this ramble? It wasn't needed. Hey, Dazz, nice hair. Thank you. There are a lot of introverted YouTubers. Yeah, also, actually, that's the thing. I think if I could identify other shy YouTubers, I would feel a million times more comfortable approaching them. Does that make sense? There's a YouTuber I know of who seems incredibly... I don't know them. They don't know me. But they are, my most desired person to meet. I'd love to meet them because they seem so wholesome and kind and approachable. Everyone else by default, I think, is unapproachable. It's a whole shebang. If anyone has any tips on how to overcome shyness, please do let me know. Because, hey, when I'm on a stage, when I'm presenting about goddamn Home Alone Reboot, I'm ready to chat. I can, my career is monologuing. I'm talking to 150 people right now. Easy, not a problem. But when there's less than 8, it's me. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry. There's your brief detour. Shall we get back to the incredibly slow introed, but ever more important to discuss concept that is Home Alone 7 or something? Yeah, let's do that. Tip, have a Keza with you? Yes, it does help a lot, I must admit. Now, Home Alone is a topic I think I know a little too much about. I have researched this for years on end. It used to be a theme every Christmas that I would talk about a Home Alone movie. Home Alone 1, a classic original. Home Alone 2, a pretty classic original. You can debate which of the two are your favorites. Home Alone 3, you're getting a little dicey. You kept the same director, but you changed the characters entirely. You lost something in the integral core of Home Alone. Home Alone 4, you removed everyone, but brought back Kevin McAllister as a character, but not the actor Macaulay Culkin. It was awful. Then you made a 5th, then there were dog spin-offs, and now here we are. 30 years later, with a new child, and one of the worst representations Home Alone has ever had. It is just baffling how far off the mark they went. Because not only is it not as fun to see, but you cringe at the pain. Because they humanized the villains, and then they focused almost entirely on their feet. And it's just gross. You guys don't know? Yeah, dog spin-offs. There's 6 Home Alone movies. You don't know the half of it. Yes, there are. It just keeps going, and you cannot stop it. Oh, we're going to repeat? I don't need a repeating of this song. I've had my piece. I've spoken so much about Home Alone that I will just call it there. Where even is Home Alone on the list? I am blind. Hold on, give me a moment. There it is. Big old face. You can't stop it, but boy, will it keep on trying. Is it worse than Addams Family? It's not it's kind of black-hearted. It made me cringe. I'm going to give it an F. Yeah. Cringing on is just incredible. How do you make your audience cringe? That takes a lot of work, you know? Anyway, yeah, I think I'm settled on that front entirely. Let's stop talking about Home Alone, shall we? Let's talk about something a little, nicer. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. You thought I was done? You thought I was done talking about Home Alone? Did you not hear what I just said? There are several Home Alone movies. 2 of them are good. Do you have any idea how many times I can cover this as a terrible format? Home Alone in space, I'm sure, will be a thing at this point. But they made spin-off dog-themed Home Alone movies. And you know what? I like the concept. The thinnest idea of dogs trying to fight against humans sounds good. But then you look at this movie. Look at this movie. The dogs speak. The villains are doofy. But they've got friggin' Wizards of Waverly Place Dad in there. What is going on? Now, this isn't an official Home Alone movie. This is made by a separate studio. But someone should have told them to stop. We don't need more Home Alones. We peaked in 1990. 1991 and 2 were fine too. But this is beating a dead horse. I don't need to know about Bone Alone. Why would you even title it Bone Alone? You would believe the kind of research I had to do to make some of these gags. The CGI is awful. The visuals are incredible. And the delivery is just... Yeah, man.
Home Alone in space is just Pikmin.
You what? Excuse me? What? Oh my god. Oh my god. My entire life is based off of Home Alone. I cover Home Alone every single Christmas. It has become an aspect of my personality now. But my old personality was Pikmin. Captain Olimar of Smash Bros. Clearly Brawl fame is just another Kevin McAllister. We don't know his surname. He's Captain Olimar McAllister. What? But there's one thing that defines Olimar's trials. He may be alone on this planet, far from his helpful aides, the police clearly cut off and unable to contact. But at least he has the tools of his environment to fend off against his enemies. Oh my god. Why is my life like this? Am I in a comedy? Who wrote this? Can I talk to the writer, please? I think I've got some words to have with him. Okay. Well, I'm glad we came to that conclusion. Either way, Bone Alone also pretty damn bad. That one's a lot easier to spot. Look, I'm very glad of this thumbnail, by the way. Look at that. Great. I made that. That image doesn't exist. Dog in front of Home Alone 2. I'm genius. This is... Oh... You know what? Actually, yeah, it surpasses Home Alone Reboot. I need a better name for that thing. I don't know what you call it. Bone Alone is an FFF tier. It is made by Asylum. The CGI is awful. I highly recommend you watch that movie. It is on shelves everywhere in the UK. I see it everywhere. Oh my, it's a whole thing. Anyway. God wrote this? Well, I have some words for God. I don't appreciate their writing style, and I will be having words. Jesus is on his villain arc. Wow, that really fits the theme, doesn't it? What have I done? I've cut my hair off now. You can't call me Jesus. My hair's too short to be Jesus. My name's just Jeez. It's cut short, alright? Hi there, my name's DazzReviews, or my real name, Jeez. Morty's just talking to me every time he's on the TV. Ah, Jeez. That was a stupid joke. You know, just forget. You know what? I'm just gonna. Goodbye, everybody. Right, shall we cover a newer thing? Here's the one other song I haven't touched today. I don't know if it's gonna fit any of the movie themes we've got, but we'll give it a go. Why not? Actually, that's not too bad. What have we not covered? We haven't covered this one. Wait for it. Find a good beat. I'll find a good intro point. Oh man, it's just gonna be this now, isn't it? I've chosen the wrong time to switch. I'm also on the wrong page anyway, so it's fine. Wait for it. No, there it is. Cars 2 is the next one on our list. We haven't talked about Pixar for a while. What do people think of Cars 2? This was a movie that I only heard was bad from the internet. I was never going to watch Cars 2. I'll be honest, wasn't a big fan of Cars 1. But this movie, strange. It's not the worst thing you've ever seen. It is Pixar. It is well animated. It is well voice acted. All of it comes down from... Was that just slow-mo footage in the middle of the trailer? I didn't edit that. Well, whatever. All of this is just strange storytelling. Mater was not our favorite character. They took some interesting directions with the spy idea, but I don't know. It's just... They do brutally murder a car in this. And it spawned an okay video game. But boy oh boy was this not part of the legacy that Pixar had been trying to build up. I'm surprised they made a third after how poorly Cars 2 did, review-wise anyway. Cars 2 was the movie of all time. It had writing and characters. It had the Queen in there. And then they almost killed her. Thankfully, I was trying to find some spin of a joke there. It's not really. It's just dated now. The Queen don't exist. Did the Cars 2 characters mourn the Queen? Like, how did they approach that? You know? Does the Cars universe have a Prince Andrew? Oh, I meant to cut that off, but now we're repeating. Oh well. Either way, this movie was an enigma. It didn't necessarily grab my attention in any way. It just kind of went, and I let it go. It's fine. The spy element was kind of cool, but they just wasted it. I played the racing game for hours as a kid. Yeah, that's the best part of these movies, is the games that come out of it. We just wanted to race ourselves. We're not that fussed about how the cars, you know, think. We just wonder how their world works. Why are there tiny bird planes? Why are there those two twins that flash the guy? And then there's a photographer behind them taking a picture of their ass. That's a real thing. Watch that movie again. You know what I mean? FFF. This is the worst sequel of all time. There's barely any racing, which is what the entire first movie was based on. They made a State Farm joke, for God's sake. Those are some very passionate words. I won't dive quite so far as to that degree. There we go. Cut it off somewhat on the halfway point. I would say it looks okay, but it is worse than Planes for ruining the legacy of it. Is it worse than The Good Dinosaur? No. Good Dinosaur is the worst Pixar movie, so I would call it a D. Worse than Shark Tale? Yes. I'll be giving it a D, I think. Yeah. I don't like the British stereotypes. Welcome to my world. Actually, it's not too bad. It's fun to play with. Although I keep getting annoyed now slightly where it's like, I'm watching an American movie. Animated. There is one British guy in it. He's the villain. What a surprise. The villain is always British. It's like the one downside of bad guys. I was like, I recognize him. He's a British comedian. Oh, he's British. He's going to be the villain, isn't he? And then he was. Spoilers for bad guys, by the way, if you can recognize accents. Although, some people don't. Some people say I sound just like a northerner. And that surprises me every time. Right. Let's just go around the loop. Let's get another movie in there. I think I've covered all of these. Yes. So let's move on to page 2. Oh. This. Another DreamWorks project. This is probably my most debated video that I made. I got a lot of hate when I made this video, the terrible monsters versus aliens. Ooh-wee, ooh-ah. This was a movie that I had never seen before, and I knew it was poorly received in general, I think, in like DreamWorks' connections. But I guess in so much wanting to not be the British villain archetype in movies, I became a bit of a British villain in the real world, because this is a fine movie. I made some good fun jokes out of it. People really like the Seth Rogen blob. I fundamentally misunderstood the concept of monsters. I remember making a point that they're not even really monsters until I realized that it's a specific archetype of monsters. They're not actually that scary, but these are real, like, mythos monsters. It's old school, you know, it's proper, like, 1950s kind of territory. The animation, though, is ugly. Like, and I guess that's the point, judging by that one shot there. The humans look awful. But it's a entertaining movie. It has jokes. It has voice actors a little before their time. Kinda bad is horrible, kinda. Yes. The meme potential, though, yes, brings in a lot of entertainment. And that is to be, you know, noted. A lot of people really enjoyed this movie. It is unsettling. I think it's a matter of if you see it from the outside or whether you see it from within. That is, like, the defining difference. I don't know. Like, that's great. Analyzing all the body parts, that's a lot of fun. It is more than just sticking in front of your kids. The missing link, yeah, I had no idea was a concept of a monster, which was very odd. But it grew on me, I think. No, it didn't. No. The hate I got immediately after uploading this video is what grew on me until I tried to change it around. The voice acting sucked, did it? I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention, to be honest. I'm glad I covered it, but I think as it is, perhaps I had been a bit too harsh on these guys in the past. So for that alone, I will be granting this our rarest egg.
Either you wet your waffles or you unclog toilet.
Your comma has destroyed the text-to-speech, but alright. You know, either you wet your waffles or you unclog toilet. I agree. That's a very good point. I hadn't thought of that. Monsters versus aliens. Either you wet your waffles or you unclog toilet. Thanks, Creative Sushi. Sorry, I'm kind of hungover. I'd love to be a rambling, whatever comes out of my voice kind of hungover guy. I don't get hangovers, actually. I think I'm pretty lucky. I have 0 hangover effects. I've only gotten a hangover once in my life, and it was from wine, because I drank an entire bottle of this one wine that tasted nice, and I've never tasted nice wine in the rest of my life. That was a lot of rhymes. Every wine tastes like vinegar to me, and I hate it. Everything's vinegar. I've tried expensive wine, I've tried cheap wine. It just all tastes like vinegar. But there was this one bottle I had once that someone left at that was just around in a party. Ugh. That's some first year university drama for you. At the same time that I was making Let's Plays on Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, I was discovering one wine and then never again. Creeper Fun, don't spam in chat or you will be banned. It's not a very good introduction. Okay. Ooh. Keeping on with the theme of terrible, not so terrible, we have the Storks movie. Now this concept of a video came out while I was trying to just find movies I didn't really know, and looking at the trailer of Storks, I assumed this was always a really terrible movie. So I went into it expecting it to be a terrible movie. I actually also remember I had a friend who was helping me write some jokes at one point because I wanted to test out that sort of element of production. And they came up with a few things. They said, actually, this movie's just mediocre. It's just fine. It's not really that terrible. And I was like, oh, well, we'll go with it anyway. Try and make some entertainment out of it. It looks visually great. It's got a lot of good jokes. It's got a lot of naff stuff as well, but it's fine. This was another one of those projects that once I uploaded it, I got a lot of hate for it. And it started, I think, mostly the wave of, why are you putting terrible on things that aren't terrible? You're kind of clickbaiting us at this point. Get back in your lane. valid criticisms. I'm working on it. But this was very much a time in my life. That was an incredibly quick trailer. Is that all the footage we have? All right, we'll play it again. I think a lot of people really enjoy this movie. Have people actually seen this? I would assume so. This movie is just okay. Yeah, it's just fine. It is a little bit ahead of its time. Yeah, like it's got Andy Samberg, I think. Like some of the, I don't know. The delivery is great in a lot of places. I think I quite liked some of the jokes I had. Like the logic of Storks was quite fun to play with. Like how babies are made. Very funky, you know. I liked that movie. It's cute. Yeah, it's one of those things where I was just in the theme of the series that I think perhaps, yes, I was being a little too harsh on it. So the real thing to compare it to is it as good, as non-terrible as Incredibles 2 and Monsters vs. Aliens? Better than? Worse than? Somewhere in the middle? That's really the conclusion we're coming to. It is certainly not a triple F ranked video. Is this trailer now longer, or am I imagining things? Okay, no, there it is. There's your ending. I will be putting it... There he is, with a screaming baby. I think I really enjoyed the jokes in these. It doesn't lose anything on its messaging, just a bit of a funky concept. So I'll say I was being better. It is better than all the things we've covered in the past. And that'll be my tale. The Wolfpack part was very funny. Yes, I remember that. A Wolfpack that incredibly clumps together. Fantastic. Key and Peele, obviously not at their best because they have some absolute gold mines, but very much worth our time. Good movie, Storks. Maybe I was a little too harsh on you. Hopefully now I'll get less angry messages about it. Probably not. That pigeon has a terrible design. Yes, I guess that's kind of the point. Meant to be annoying. Something like that. I don't know. Oh well. I would be honest, the ending was genuinely wholesome. Exactly. Although they'd literally been waiting for like 20 years. How does that work, you know? The nut job would have been funny if it released on November. The movie or my video? Because both could probably be true, to be honest. Oh, did anyone watch this one? A trailer that's so hard to find I had to keep the Machinima logo on it. A rare live action review from me that I might try more of in the year. Sharknado. This is like a cultural phenomenon, because I think a load of people know this movie exists, but I don't think that many people actually saw it. You get the concept. That's enough entertainment for you. It's trying to be stupid, and it does. It is an asylum movie, which are the same guys who made the Bone Alone movie from before. They have not worked out how to do CGI entirely. This is probably the best thing they made, and then they made loads and loads and loads of sequels. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, was it a wild ride. It was also, I guess, during the theme when everything was unsaturated, so it's very grey, very boring. At the same time, you can't keep your eyes off of it. It is such an interesting disaster, and it's very ironically good. This is a 10-year-old boy's dream. Exactly. I kind of wish there were more movies made like this, perhaps with a slightly better budget. I think life could be a little better if we could get a little bit more like this. But how do you guys not know this? Is this not a known thing? It is just incredible. This was the strangest movie ever. Wasn't this a meme? Yes, 100% it was. The wild ride never ends. Sharks and tornadoes. What's more to understand, you know? They knew they were making an idiotic film, and they never pretended it was anything but. Very true. And perhaps for that, we've been too cruel to it. Perhaps the sequels deserved this terrible concept, and everything else was just kind of fine, you know? I don't know. I feel like this should be the kind of movie that's researched for film studies courses, but it didn't happen for me, so it doesn't happen to anyone else. Could you imagine? So how do I even rank this? This is interesting, right? Because it is really bad, but it knows it's bad. Although I guess the CGI is not trying to be bad. The story is silly, but it's kind of an action sequence that you know exactly how it goes. So, oh god, I have to freeze my music.
Heading out, take care, Dazz. We really cared.
Oh, thank you, Vantage. I appreciate that. I still get comments like that, being, you know, I do care. And I'm like, I know, it's just a phrase of an outro, but thank you. Hope you have a good time wherever you're off to. Creative Sushi, enjoy your hangover. try to make the best of it, I guess. Go for it. And in conclusion, Sharknado. God, they're kind of similar, aren't they? Oh, they both have sharks in it. What a surprise. Sharknado, I think we'll give it a C. It's mediocre. It's not bad. It's not distasteful. It's not ruining any legacy. I'll give it a C. I'll be friendly to Sharknado. The sequels, however, those things are way worse. Don't even get touched to those, alright? Why not reach out to Warner Brothers for a scary movie? It has a whole saga. I don't typically cover scary movies. Like, scary movies aren't my thing. Unless you mean terrible movies. I've got a long list of movie studios and then all of their movies. They'd be like, this can be a scene changed, so it's really good. This can be terrible, put it there. This one's got a spin-off. This one's got a movie game. So, yes, I think Warner Bros. Is a list I have. Do people disagree with my C? Am I being way too kind? I mean a lot of FFFs for it. But it knows what it's doing. That's the thing. You know what? Sure, I'm a easily peer pressurable guy. I'll put it way over to F. Alright? We'll meet in the middle. And by that I mean not quite go to FFF. It is really bad. It knows what it's doing. But that doesn't make it less terrible. It's cool. It's a cool F. Alright? It's an F, but with a bit of a glimmer to it. Can I add an extra one here? No, I can't. I can just flip them over. Unless I can add a row above. Yeah, thank you. Can I enable this? Cool. The cool F. There we go. Perfect. That's our system. That sound good? It has ruined the color spectrum we've got, but it's fine. Can I have a hug, Dazz? There you go, Cloaker. Sorry, I'm a bit of an aggressive hugger, but I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry about the hitting the the wooden floor. It's a bit solid, but hope you're all right. Is that a whatever? Ignore me. I'm a weirdo. Oh no, this is a movie I had long forgotten about. Again, going into the territory of really bad graphics. If you haven't seen this, this is quite the out of context bit. This is Zoo Wars. Oh my god. This is so bad. It is. I don't even know how to think of it. Was it made by one guy? I don't remember. We're going to ignore the fact that there's a guy unconscious on my floor. It is for shush. We're talking about Zoo Wars now. I really wanted to cover this kind of territory more of movies that weren't budgeted enough to be made. Because this is just like, this looks like a VR chat kind of sequence. Where animals? It's shuffled, so that sentence will never finish. At the same time, I was surprised to find... not that there was a secret fandom for this movie. There was not. But there was very little reception to this movie. Maybe I made a bad thumbnail, but people weren't interested in bad graphics, terrible movies, is what I was coming to find from a bit of experimenting a couple years ago. So I've kind of scrapped that kind of territory of terrible and gone for more studio-based things. But boy, oh boy, did I feel it going through this movie. I was begging for it to finish. It is so slowly paced. That scene of like the monkey just standing is such a long scene, just standing at a temple. The monkey doesn't even animate, I'm pretty sure. Like, not most of it. This is obviously super cheap. Yeah, a $100 budget, 100%. Costed 0 for animation, you said. Yeah. If I made this, I'd feel pretty proud. You know, like that's a whole room designed. I'm trying to actually learn a bit of Unreal Engine so I can green screen myself into rooms and have some camera motion. But, yeah. Star Wars, but it's Zootopia, is exactly it. Yes, it's Zoo Wars. It is literally ripping off the title in its title. Very, very daring. But boy, oh boy, it doesn't deserve its praises, you know? It's just... Because even the story's bad. I was wondering if, like, maybe they just didn't have money and they wanted to tell a cool story, but no. No. They just called it a day there. So, I'm afraid I will have to be executing this in its highest form. Zoo Wars will be getting No C, D, E, or F. It is not at all the cooler F. It is just, oh boy, a triple F, F, F. Which would imply 9 Fs, but that's not the case. I don't even remember the plot, I'll be honest. I only remember he's a worker that gets taken away on a magical journey with a robot, and then he's at a temple at the end with a monkey. I guess that's all you need to know. Okie dokie. That looks so bad. Yeah, it is. It is, essentially. I don't have time to do that, do I? No, it's fine. It's fine. I was going to go on a pee break. We'll just get by. I was originally going to have as well like a pre-recorded bit so that I could disappear for a few minutes and like be chatting still. But I wasn't able to record that today. But it's fine. This will be one of those things I'll also upgrade, I think, as I go through. Make an adjustment for when you need to pee halfway through the stream. I wonder why I need a pee, considering I've already had 1.5 of these. Now it sounds like Northern North, doesn't it? Any future video ideas that you can leak? I would like to be a lot more transparent on the videos I make in the future. I have already leaked that I'm writing 21 videos in the same week. In 7 days, I will write 21 videos. If I'm a little behind, that's fine. I'll happily make 17 instead. Let's look at your background. Well, while I pee or just in general? There it is. That's a projector, actually. I got a projector for Christmas, but it doesn't, you know, it shines up there, so you can't see it, unfortunately. Water. Indeed. What can I spoil? I don't actually remember any video I've made yet. I will find a better way to give hints in the future. How about that? But we will be covering a Pixar movie first. The first one, February 4th, is a Pixar. There you go. How about that? That'll do. I wonder why. Terrible? Scene change? Something new? Covered already? Who knows? You'll have to just humble think and work it out. Humble and grumble. In the meantime, I don't even... Oh, I do remember this movie. I was wondering what it says on my stream deck. This suddenly makes a lot more sense. I'm not looking forward to coming back to this vibe. I thought I'd left it long behind. It's so poorly done that the black colors in the frame aren't even black. They're gray. It is such crappy footage. This is Dragon Ball Evolution. Oh, we're going into 20th Century Fox territory. Is there a bot? Oops, I looked away from the chat too long. Sorry about that. Gone. There we are. I wanted to do a little bit of, again, another thing that was surprisingly underperceived was live action adaptations of things. Maybe people really don't like anime content on my part, but I looked into the Dragon Ball movie and yikes. Like, this is from like 2011? It's an old movie and it shows. It is too dated to be able to do the CGI it wants to do. Let's hear your rankings early. It's been a while since I've reminded people. Tell me what your rankings would be for a movie of this caliber. I was never a big fan of Dragon Ball. Never watched a single frame of the cartoon as a kid. So I'm not like personally offended. I can just tell it's a bad movie. It looks weird, bit cringy, could have done things differently. And was there some were there some controversies behind this? Like the casting choices? I don't even remember. I just know it wasn't a very good movie, and I wasted my time going through it. Like, you could see kind of what they're going for, but oh my god, it's just makes it embarrassing to realize we live in this world. We live in live action territory, you know? Just keep it animated. It's clearly the superior version of things. FFF is the other things I'm seeing, or E. And I don't even like Dragon Ball, they say. It also looks like a school project. It does. This is a D for animation and visuals. Yes. Krillin was lucky not to be in this film. Yeah, I can see that. Ignorance is bliss in some form of the way, isn't it? I'm glad it's behind me. I could not find a good thumbnail at all, so maybe it's because I chose this that it didn't succeed. Yeah, it's not a cool F. I Is it that bad though? No, I don't think it's like as bad as these three. I think it is worse than Bone Alone. No, it's not. Bone Alone made me cringe. I'm gonna put it as a middle F. Actually, I think that's the best place to put it. Dragon Ball Z has such potential for a live-action movie, but they wasted it on this. Yep, and then they never tried again, and it kind of ruined the vibe of it. Thankfully, Netflix is around to ruin the vibe all over again. You love to see it. Ah, well. Ooh. Continuing on with the theme of live-action adaptations, this was the one video that's shaped so much of my channel in a way that I'm not sure if I'm recovering. See, here's the thing. This is one of my most popular videos. I'm really proud of it. I really like Attack on Titan. I think it's my favorite TV series now. And this movie definitely deserves the terrible tag that it got. But it's gotten like 2 to 3 million views on my channel, which made me think, people want to see live action anime. So then I made Death Note and Dragon Ball. I kept poking at anime territory, and then it never popped off again. But this, I'm glad did, because this was probably my favorite of the bunch anyway. It is just more insulting the more I understand it. Making this video is what got me into Attack on Titan. I'd only seen half of the first season up to this point, and to be fair, they took the story in a direction that was worth it for what it had, you know? The fact that it's actually like a political guy at the top of the society who's the Titan and what have you, and like this ocean just on the other side of the wall makes good guesses. It's fine. I actually wouldn't even say it was fun to be as a part of the... I wouldn't even say it was fun to be on set. But I liked the jokes that came out of it. I'm glad what I made out of it. I'm glad that's not the form of Attack on Titan we got. The first scene was brutal. If you know, you know in the anime. Oh, yeah. I mean, for what it is, I almost want to see more. In a sick and twisted kind of way, you know? But, nah. Wasn't Speed Racer live action decent? Yes, I've heard good things about that, actually. Yes. Why, bro? I love anime. Stop turning things into live action. It's not good. It's bad. Oh, sorry. That's not me. I'm not Kodansha. Or whoever's in charge of all this. We do not talk about the Attack on Titan live action. Yeah, I've heard people that have left midway through the cinema for this. But, I mean, it really entertained me. Like, and actually, one thing they did do really well was the Colossal Titan, because it's one big puppet guy. And the visuals look good. But the directions they took everything else, Mikasa gets eaten, nah. It's just pass, you know? But I think I'm glad we had the times. I'm also very glad it is behind us. Why isn't Armin blonde? Just make him blonde. I'd love to see another attempt at this, just because I want to see more Attack on Titan stuff. Because I'm really sad it's a kind of ending in a way, and I've read the manga, so I know how it ends, even if they twist it a bit. But, God, I had fun making that. I love that the first joke in the video is me topless. What a tale. I would say, no, it's not cool. I find it cool. I want to give it the cool F, but I don't think it deserves it. People have left midway through the cinema. Does it get boring halfway through? Oh, it just ruins the original content. Oh God, I don't know what. FFF, the cool F, C or D? Yeah. This is difficult. I can see all of them. Cool F. Are we going to give it another cool? Am I really going to say Attack on Titan live action is cool? That sounds so controversial. Nah. No. I think cool F is okay. Well, when I send a screenshot of this out to the people, they're going to be very confused about why I put Attack on Titan next to Sharknado. Alright. I guess they're basically the same movie anyway, right? Totally. Totally. We need an FF rank? Maybe. I think cool... No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll leave it be. Alright. I realize I've been kind of going at these fast for a moment, so I'll give a moment of pause. How's everybody feeling? It is just turned 5 o'clock over here. Okay. I think we're kind of on time. People... Here's a question for you. I got a meta question for you about this stream. Are people sick of the pacing? Because I'm taking this very slowly. I really wanted to dive into each one of these. Like, are you like, oh my god, we're 2 hours in and it's still going? Because I really like detail, you know? Whereas I might think people might be like, oh, why don't you just make 5 tier lists and do them quickly? I like the discussion element. Also, actually, I'll grab some points here while you are here. Any other ideas for a movie-based stream? Like how to do it in a way that's not just playing a game the whole time, and how to adapt to the movie category of YouTube into stream formats. The pacing is good. The pacing is surprisingly fast. Okay, cool. I like... Well, then again, you might be biased, but I'll accept it. Pacing is genuinely fine. Okay. 5 in the UK. Yes, 5 in the UK. It's 10 a.m. here. 9 a.m. here in California. Oh, very interesting. I'm trying to make arrangements, actually, to go on holiday in Los Angeles, California again. Around VidCon and Anime Expo time. On the topic of anime with live action. I did last year, and I might pop up again. Depending on things. I've got some other events that are clashing, so I'll work that out. It's good? Oh, right. The worst cheaply made Disney sequels. Yes, I've got a list of those. I'd like to cover those at some point. Because, I mean, that sounds like a goldmine of terrible content, doesn't it? It's noon in Ohio. sounds like a meme line, but I'm sure that's probably true. It's 6 here in Spain. Makes sense, an hour ahead. A stream where you discuss how you would fix and rewrite bad films. Ooh. Excuse me, I like that. Love the pace, everyone is chilled. Yeah, I really like this. I'm hoping as well to sort of expand and see more of the community side of whatever the hell this is I've amassed. It's nice to see the chat's quite chill, you know? It's like, I have the same thing. You know how I said I was shy with strangers earlier? I have a thing sometimes where when a video just comes out, I avoid the comments for the first, hour. Because I'm worried that the first people to message will be people sending hate. And I don't read the comments until they've gotten loads of likes. And then I'm like, well, these are more likely to be positive. So it's nice to see that... I don't know why I assume my community... Maybe it's because I've been burnt a couple times by saying Monsters vs. Aliens is terrible. But it's nice to realize when you have the opportunity to directly tell me your thoughts without having to go through a moderation process, you're pretty chill, which is nice. I'm so jealous of your headphones. Are you? Are you really? I mean, I'm wearing them backwards because they're a little tattered. They didn't last very long. They're just cheap £20 ones, I think. Although they are Razer, so maybe they're not. I don't remember where we got these. But if you say so. People like that are so sad. I agree. But boy, oh boy, does it. It hits me at the wrong time sometimes. I'm generally okay with it. It just depends. You know, I think it's because it's first. That's why it gets me. It's like, imagine you just put in all these hours of effort. 3 hours writing, 10 hours making. And then it's like, the first thing you see is an immediate cut down on it. It's like, it's the timing that gets me sometimes. So I just don't. Alright. Jerusha Seal. Slow down. In fact, actually, no, I'm going to give him a time for that one. I don't know how long that'll go for. 300 seconds. Oh, good to know. What's that, 5 minutes? All right. There you go. There's the bad side of the community. That's as bad as it gets. I'm fine with that. If it's just a little bit of spamming, I'll live, you know. Right. Let us move on to what's next, shall we? We're going for another beautiful one. Okay. Sure. This will totally fit the vibe for this music. But, I would have banned him for life if I was a mod. Gosh, DLP, you are brutal. I love it. This is a video that I was quite happy with. A film that had been recommended to me by 2 good friends for ages because they'd seen it. Are you guys familiar with what this is? Do you recognize the man Nicolas Cage and who he's playing as? This is the FNAF movie. Before the FNAF movie. This is Willie's Wonderland. It's a thing. It is FNAF before FNAF. They tried to get there first, hopping off the idea of evil animatronics. I might get demonetized because of that clip, and maybe the big words kill as well could cause me harm. It is a strange movie, but I really enjoyed it. Again, I was kind of in trouble. I might get demonetized for that one too. Thanks trailer. It was a strange movie and presentation because this entire movie, Nicolas Cage doesn't say anything. And I think there's a common fan theory that like he's actually a traumatized kid that survived one of their killings and then comes back. I don't know, but I was very proud to get into this. I'm a little scared of the concept of the FNAF movie if they are planning to do all sorts of gory, crazy things. But this I can handle, you know? It's all oil, it's fine, no one's getting spring locked or anything. And it was really enjoyable. A little bit doofy in places. But yeah, a top tier movie, ironically. I came in expecting this to be just a FNAF ripoff, which already could have been a bad adaptation in FNAF form, let alone spinning off of it. But they made it their own, and I think it really paid off. I was surprised to see how much I enjoyed this. I want to get into like the theory community here. I really enjoyed this movie, and it gets way less praise than it deserves. But I will be giving it here on this random January 12th DazzReviews stream by saying I was a little harsh to you, Willie's Wonderland. And instead, I will be awarding you perhaps the best out of all we've seen. A very solid A, better than Storks and Monsters and Incredi 2 2. I always come back. Sure you do. Oh man, seeing Matthew Lillard as William Afton is going to be very interesting. Do a FNAF smash or pass? Anyway, shall we move on? Looks badass. I highly recommend watching that movie if you haven't already seen it. Good times all round, you know. Although it does look a bit strange because after a while when they're fighting... What, did I press a button? Oh, I did. When they're looking around, when they're fighting even, they look like humans fighting. It's a bit funky, you know. So, oh well, we do what we can. I'm going to test something. Oh, all right, it just went. All right, cool. Does anyone, by any chance, have a YouTube Premium? I didn't mean to press a button. Maybe I did. Does anyone have YouTube Premium? Because if you don't, you've got an advert right now, or you should have done. I just wanted to see what the button, if it would give me an extra option, but it didn't. So I hope it's not too worrisome that you got an advert. Oops, I'm learning the YouTube system as we go. Well, I'm sure they'll be back soon enough. Let's cover a new movie, shall we? Just a bit of a beat. Yes, this is the next one. Ooh, this one doesn't fit, but we're going with it. Oh. Trolls. Trolls is one of those franchises that just burst open an oil gold mine for some company, and then they just kept going. This is the sequel world tour, and it's a movie that brings a lot of people a lot of joy. And actually, it was the start of 2020's first movie in the lockdown period, potentially opening up to a whole streaming element of movies that never really caught on in a surprising way. This movie is better than it needed to be. At the same time, it is a jukebox musical that always makes me grumble. Now, I don't think I got a lot of hate for saying this movie was terrible, but I imagine it's because the people that would say that are a little too young to find my video and then comment about it. I could be wrong. The movie I was forced to watch out of my own will? Oof. I like the concept they're going for here with different musical genres, but I've half forgotten even what the story was or if I liked it. I remember Trolls 1 especially was a little bit egregious. I feel like Trolls 2 started to get its footing in a way. It did some interesting choices, and it felt like a Paper Mario movie turned into a different format. It felt like Paper Mario World, which was very interesting. Less cringy, more fun. Why are they making rock a bad thing? It would make more sense if that was from the 90s, right? Like at the height of its grunge. It is very generic spins in that way. There are very generic, casual spins to how it's presenting itself. Yet at the same time, some of it's good. It's like a 50-50 split, I think. Never saw this movie. I've heard good things and bad things. Exactly. This movie is a strange 50-50 split. It could have been something bigger, but also perhaps it was big enough for what it was. Thank you for the subscription. That's just a random person, probably. Although maybe they're in chat. If you are, hi. I think I will be judging it as such. I think there was one joke that was particularly bad with, like, the poop cake joke. That was a thing that happened at one point. But other than that, I think it was fine. This trailer goes on for an extra amount of time. I didn't know they'd have a kid's attention for this long. It had Ozzy Osbourne in it, so 10 out of 10. Yeah, he was like a rocking elderly folk, wasn't he? Well, with all that in mind, I think it's pretty clear where we go from here. It's not an A, but it's pretty mediocre, pretty standard, you know? Is it better than Secret Life of Pets? I'd even say yeah. So that means it should be there. And better than Turbo? Sure. It has a lot of beats that certainly keep kids entertained for a very long time. But at the end of the day, I'm finished chatting about it. I half can't remember it, to be honest. So, let's move on to this. It repeated it over and over again. Oh, right. Well, oops. This is an odd one. No one expected this movie. It's the Smosh movie. Why is this a thing? Odd one. Clearly the Fred movie had made some rumblings. They realized they could monetize YouTubers into a whole new direction. And to be fair, they played around with it a bit. Maybe it was fun on set. But these guys, you know, they aren't... And the story, you know, it isn't... I mean, what the end result was kind of, you know... It's very saddening, to be fair, because I know there was a lot of dramas with the Smosh company and how they were kind of like robbed of the higher ups. At the same time, I bet they were well happy to have been involved in a movie production. Not to mention they had Bill and Ted, or one of them. Ted, maybe? Bill, I think. Bill from Bill and Ted was the director. Although this still doesn't make it necessarily a good movie. The CGI is a little bit funky. Some of the jokes are interesting. I'd be very curious to have like a sit-down conversation with either one of them to see what their, you know, more thoughts and behind the scenes of this. But yeah, I feel embarrassed a little bit for them. Yes. I don't hate the people behind it. Of course I don't. And it's very much an element of its time, you know, making comments and doing its thing. Smosh is enjoyable, but it also depends on your age range and just, I don't know. It would have been nice perhaps if they were given more control over the movie, although maybe this is the best they could have made anyway with their Smosh style. I'm not sure. Either way, I'll be giving it a very swift
Please move
F.
Trolls 2 to D. Listen to the PPL lol.
Trolls 2 to D. Do people agree with these? Oh, it's only one layer up. It's not too fast. Is everyone really wanting a D? We can do D. Let me know your thoughts. Although I'm seeing a lot of E's. Oh, which is the other way around. Oops, never mind. But yes, there you go. That's my Smosh point. I feel bad for them. I wish them well, you know. Because also as well, Anthony kind of has gone for a very different vibe these days. So if I ever got into those Anthony Padilla interviews, I would love to have that chat. That would be. I'd give him a reverse card and talk about the Smosh movie. I'm sure they'd love that. No, E or D? Keep as is? C, Trolls 2 was fairly enjoyable in my opinion. I think we are keeping it stuck. Here you go, I'll put it in D. As you request. And then we'll put it back again. I still think Trolls 2 is better than Secret Life of Pets. Yeah. Better than Turbo? Maybe not. Let's make it in the middle. How about that? Secret Life of Pets pretty bad though, you know? It's fine at C. I'm not going to put FFF, although it was said by the wrong argument, so maybe they're right in being wrong. Who knows? Alright, let us move on. Ooh, what is this? Ah! The Mario movie! Fitting for a Mario Kart theme. I just saw Mario movie in my stream deck and was like, that movie's not out yet. This is the 1993 version. Boy, does it put a smile on my face and a frown on all of Nintendo's. And that makes me smile all the brighter. God, I dislike Nintendo as a company more and more. This movie is 90s to a fault. It is interesting to see a movie be given full creative control like this, but that doesn't make it necessarily a good movie, you know? Like, this like disheveled Bob Hoskins' career, or at least his intention for video game adaptations of some sort. It's a Chris Pratt, totally. I mean, I'd love to see Chris Pratt's voice plugged into this movie. That sounds like a lot of fun. But they played with all sorts of concepts. There's Daisy, there's Yoshi, the way they played with the Koopas. This is such a meme. You were 7 years old when this film released. That's crazy. I was -3. At the same time, it does tarnish very much the sort of source material it was going for. And perhaps for that, it should be shot down. But think of the memes. Look at these visuals. Look at the entertainment this ironically brought out for so many people. You know? I wish I could have thought like this. And it still influences Mario movies today, since they still have a big old truck and a Brooklyn plumber vibe even now. As much as it caused many a concern for those at Nintendo, and Shigeru Miyamoto is quivering in anger, I'm going to be giving Mario movie a nice and quick, very chill, cool F. I would say better than Attack on Titan. Sure. Looks so goofy and ugly. Exactly. Wasn't it great? I wasn't even born when this movie released. Exactly the same here. Bob Hoskins suffered injuries such as stabbing, electrocution, and near drowning. Yeah. Not a big fan of that point. Still a cool F. If that's not too immoral. The trailer is so bright and confusing. Yeah. I mean, it is also shuffled. I've shuffled all the clips. It's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. A whole shebang. How did I combine those two words? Anyway. Oh, now this is a movie I really liked as a kid. This is Doogal. This movie is great. This movie is fun. It's fine. It's mediocre, right? It's fun. The voice acting, fantastic. You got great British actors all throughout, telling their nice little tales, doing these little bits and bobs. There's a nice silent moose. But we are not talking about the magic roundabout that came out in the UK when we're talking about Doogal. We're talking about the American version of this movie, which is for some reason a thing. This was a very strange thing to discover. This movie got redubbed in American, if you call it that. And it is the worst thing I have ever seen. Well, pushing it considering all these other things I've seen now. But they replaced everything with crappy lines, cringe humor, fart jokes. The moose is talking, the delivery is awful, the animation is the same. So the story is somewhat the same. You know, there's an element you should be able to say is, oh, well, it's fine, you know. Ian McKellen, Bill Nye, oh, you wish you had this version of events. But Butch Hartman got the IP and had to rewrite the whole thing, and then he had issues with it, and that got through production hell, that this is what we ended up with, and just return it back. Just return it to sender, and then call it there, you know? We don't need anything else. And it was just a whole shebang, and it cursed my childhood, to be honest. I wish we didn't have to know about it, you know? That's how I see it. So that is my thoughts on the Magic Roundabout. Great.
The
Nothing
Mario
else.
movie started the video game movie curse.
It did, yes. And so we never saw a video game adaptation again. Looking forward to the Mario movie later this year, huh? Sounds fun. But yes, Doogal was tarnishing of our very soul and childhood. I will be putting this for its crimes all the way up to, yes, FFF territory. Not as bad as Bone Alone, but dubbing can really, really destroy a movie. If you haven't seen The Magic Roundabout, highly recommend it. If you haven't seen Doogal, I ironically highly recommend you do it. It is an experience It is an experience. It is an experience. Yeah. Ah, we haven't done this song yet. Well, we're putting it onto this theme tune. Alright, we'll go with it. We'll see how this turns out. Now this one is another movie, perhaps I titled a little harshly. I'm not too familiar with Spy Kids in my childhood, but I am familiar with doofy-looking CGI that's aiming a little higher for what it is gunning for. This movie came out in 2003, 2001. It wasn't ready for the concept that it was trying to juggle. This is Spy Kids 3D. The idea of being inside the video game world, like a virtual reality existence. It is crazy. It is the director going ham before he had the ability to make Alita Battle Angel. It is an embodiment. It is a attack on the senses. The serotonin in this movie is off the charts. Yet at the same time, boy oh boy is it entertaining and funny and doofy. But when you look at it now, in this decade, it is so ugly. Why is the grandpa like that? Why is the villain talking like this? Why do they race like that? What is this CGI? How did they make it work? I wish I could have this ability nowadays in Unreal Engine. This is what I aim to reach. There's a plot point that they give the disabled grandpa powers of legs, and it's very awfully timed. Elijah Wood comes in and saves the day and then says cake and then he dies. This movie is an enigma that I don't think we will ever fully understand. But boy oh boy are we to be blessed to have existed in this kind of territory. We lived at the same time as Spy Kids 3D. Too late for the moon, too early for the stars. However, that was not the phrasing. We are able to exist alongside Spy Kids 3. It is bad. It is £1.50 at your nearest CEX. But it is a cool F if I was ever to see one. Or it's A, pushing really hard for what it is gunning for, just a little before its time. It's a delicate balance between A and F. I'm sure many teachers at school think much the same thing. It is worse than Willie's Wonderland. Worse than Storks. Better than Monsters vs. Aliens. I'll be placing it. I'm seeing a lot of D's, E's, and cool F's. Was the plotline good? I don't know if it was. Because it's not mediocre. You know what? I think you're right. It's so much better than Monsters vs. Aliens that I'll be saying, when this song finally stops, alright, I guess we keep going until we reach our climax. We're not quite sure this whole time. It's a whole nother verse of this. I thought I was done with my monologuing. I was waiting for the outro. Come on, man. Do I have to say it again? It's not mediocre. It's not a C or a D. It's not an E. It's so much better than Monsters vs. Aliens. So much better than Doogal that I will be putting it as a very nice FEDCA? Cool F. Cool F is where we're going with it. Oh my god, I didn't know that song had a whole nother piece to it. Oh my bloody boy. The plot was unironically kind of emotionally good. Yeah, I don't remember it that much. But did the grandpa sacrifice himself? Oh well. You sly dog, you got me monologuing. That's exactly what this whole stream is. To be honest, I can see my entire streaming design being this dude just monologues for 2 to 3 hours. This is basically a monologue stream. Hope you enjoy it. What movie are you most excited to see this year? Spider-Verse 2, I think. I'm considering making a super long essay about Spider-Verse 2. We'll see. That will be an end-of-year project. There you go. There's a very big spoiler for a future project of ours. We shall see. All right, let's go with this one, with this incredibly long intro. We talked about the earlier one. Actually, it's the later one. We talked earlier about the later one. Trolls, the original. when it had more of a solid premise idea, but more of an interesting delivery. The beginning of the end, you could say. DreamWorks dabbling into a different demographic and gaining all the more profits from it. Illumination had had their influence, and DreamWorks was starting to dip their toes into this goldmine waters. Oh boy. I saw what it was going for and just dropped my chair onto my foot. There it is. At the same time, God, this movie kind of cringe. My grandpa died of music, don't you know? With a tale of cannibalism, a betrayal in the middle, and James Corden constantly in every scene. I'm sick of this concept. Why are you pooping again? Well, for the first time. It is a James Corden moment. Because singing killed my grandpa, okay? Because singing killed my grandma, okay? Ugh, nah. I'm not even gonna let it finish its trailer. I'm done looking at this. Just put it away. Get rid of it. I don't want to see it anymore. And you better not start playing that music again. I'm sick of you too. No, stop. I heard you rumbling in the background. Pass. The song I Will Get Back Up Again is a bop. Everything else is pretty weak. I don't even remember it, but I will take your word for it. I did not want to download this jukebox musical. This was DreamWorks trying to be Illumination. It was. 100%. Now, this is a song I haven't touched much at all, and I'd love to press it again. Let's see if I can find a movie that fits this theme. Oh, God. Where are we going? We're going here. Asylum, once again, gave us this beautiful piece of art. Whilst Sharknado was very much self-aware of itself, so was this. But I think it lost something in trying to be a little wink to the camera. This is Titanic 2. Yes, that's real. Are you aware of this? Do people know this exists? Oh, it's the same course. More Titanic travelings, and then you'll never guess what happens. Though also at the same time, there's this uncomfortable underlayering of over-sexualized female characters, and then this Super Chad protagonist character. But then also, it wasn't just enough that the ship is sunk by an iceberg. They made it so that there was a crack in the iceberg that pulled out a seismic wave that caused a tsunami that then carried a piece of the iceberg into it, so that the ship did a backflip before eventually crashing down. It is just... Why did all of these discussions come together? Why did they take all these delivery points and jump on it like that? Why? Who did this? Why did they do this? I can't... Whose idea was this? I can't fathom trying to handle things like this. So I just... Do we see it again? Like, every scene is so stupid. There's a character who has her nipples showing the entire time. I only remember it because I was making a damn green screen joke about it. The ship has played Tony Storks Skate 3. It has. It knows how to do the and gets 10,000 points out of it. Titanic 2, Escape to Africa. Exactly. A Titanic 2 review was the first video I ever saw from the YouTuber Yotobi. It has a special place in my heart. Ah, very nice. I wish they made it more wink at the camera. But they didn't. They just left it as it is. Slightly problematic as it is. So for that, it's not getting a cool F. It's not even getting an F. It's getting a triple F. Oh, we have a fairly even set of terrible movies. I have a very balanced range. I guess that was meant to be the intention, considering I want to show off a variety of stuff on the channel. Titanic animated dog rap movie. Excuse me? Are you just combining all of the worst movie ideas all into one? Titanic 2, The Squeakquel. Oh. This movie is for the try-hard Titanic fans. Yeah. If you're that invested in the Leonardo DiCaprio, come see this if you really want to see him. It's funny, there are loads of fake Titanic 2 trailers that have Leonardo DiCaprio's face frozen. Very impressive. I hope they make it one day. Alrighty. We are almost done on our YouTubery movies. With the first YouTuber, to a certain extent. The first movie star, you could say. It's Lucas's own Fred movie, of which they made 2, maybe 3 of these? Now I know Lucas looks back on Fred stuff with a little bit of a cringe to him now, and that's very understandable. This movie was interesting. I think this got advertised to me a lot because I was watching Nickelodeon at the time of this, but I never fell for its traps. John Cena's there. He's very fun. But Fred does not translate anywhere. In real life, YouTube nowadays, 2023 at all, or whenever I did this review, it just... impressive. It's a lot of cringe humor, which is a real shame. I went out on a lot of effort to recreate his outfit, by the way. I bought that shirt and those suspenders. I think they're just in my wardrobe over there. Why did I make that decision? I'm not entirely sure. Unfun fact. Fred the movie got a cinema release in the UK. Oh, great. Well, maybe that's why it was advertised at the time to me. John Cena is the best part of the franchise? Yeah, I'll agree to that. This movie has a lot of screeching. That is the Fred style. But, it grinds you down, you know? It really gets at you after a while. Nah. I eagerly await the upcoming Fred 4, The Revenge of the Sith. His outfit is iconic, if you say so. I'm just glad for it to be behind me. Yeah, it got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, yeah. Although this video, actually, you're not able to watch. Copyright sharks got to it, and they properly shut it down. I showed a whole 7 seconds all at once, and it's not allowed to be seen, even though it's a review. And I tried to dispute it. No, they wouldn't have it. So there you are. So for that, I'll be giving it Fred's mum with a G. There's not a G on here. What are you talking about? Is it worse than the Smosh movie? No, it's better than the Smosh movie, actually. So I would say it's worse than Hotel Transylvania 3. We'll give it an E. Fred is an endurance test. That is the best description I have ever heard. You are 100% right. Fred is an endurance test of the highest caliber. They'll put it in torture camps one day, I'm sure. Ooh, this will be interesting. Donkey Kong! Oh, what a smile on my face you give me. This is one of those things where I learned of it first through the memes. I wish I could have watched more of this. I only skimmed through the series. The point that really brings it together is just the animation. This is a 1990s TV show, like 1995. It shows. I would love to watch this as a kid. But also, oof. They created some original characters. And actually, that's a really interesting camera movement they did there. I also saw a couple of times when, like, it's clearly very cheap. Like, he's frozen now. They stuck his hands in place. Wow, that's an interesting advert style. There was, like, a point where the keyframes of the camera kept continuing after the scene. Like, they shot it wrong. Very interesting. It's just one of those things you can just laugh at forever. It's just Donkey Kong antics. I'd love to see it referenced again in some form. It's just... all the weird physics you can imagine all come together in one place. And I'll shower you with my... What? Excuse me? Isn't it shoot you with my coconut gun? I hope that's not how it goes in the TV series. The memes from this movie are more iconic than the movie itself. Well said. Yes. I was 9 years old when this was out, but I have no memories of this. You live a blessed childhood. That was the Donkey Kong series. Very much a strange... Oops, I've just opened up Spongebob. There we go. Very much a strange archetype of its time. It's not as bad as it could be, to be honest. It's not bland, though. It is a little better than bland, I would say. We are perfectly just squaring this out, it looks like.
Because, like, it's fine. It's just bad animation. It's only dated. Fun fact, DK's design is being updated for the Super Mario movie. Makes sense. He gets updates over the time, doesn't he? I guess he's been around the same design for a while. Either way, all because of that one meme of him sitting on the edge, looking thick, I decided to make a whole video out of him. Thank you, Donkey Kong. Your ass can move mountains. Ooh. We're almost on the right season. It's time for an Easter-themed movie that I covered in Christmas for some strange reason. Illumination's one and only second maybe, bad movie that got a flop in profits. Illumination makes so much money, and this was an element of them not doing the standard animation thing. It was a live-action hybrid with a Sonic movie before Sonic movie came out. Hop is an Easter Bunny movie. It's just fine. It's bland. It's mediocre. It's weird. Why is this a thing? Who designed it? It's one of those movies that you just sort of see on TV sometimes, I feel like. No one actually goes out to find it. It's just already playing, you know? And then they've got a little bit of the minions in the logo, of course. I don't even remember the details. Was it funny? I don't think it was. It just goes on. This movie is almost the same as the Sonic movie. Very impressive. Except the pooping jokes. I'm very glad Sonic never did that. But it's funny that it's James Marsden again in a car, isn't it? It just happens that way. My birthday is in Easter, and this was my favorite movie. Well, I'm so sorry, Labcoat. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but the movie's terrible. It's just bland, boring. I've dropped my bottle again. Oops, excuse me. Hop, the Easter film with excuse me? I don't think it has undertones like that, does it? I hope not. I don't think I paid attention enough to this movie. To be fair, this is such like a bland movie. It was in the back of my mind. Like, this was the most I've ever felt closest to the dad from Coraline. Just like, alright, terrible movie. Let me tell you about it. On April 1st, excuse me? April Fool's Day is Easter? I thought you're combining the two. But alright, sure. Why is Hugh Laurie in multiple films on this list? That's true. He's Evie's dad and Professor Cockroach because he's everywhere. That's why. Fantastic voice actor. I'd love to follow in his career. He's got a great style, but hey man, if you're in so many movies, some of them ain't gonna hit, you know. The start of James Marsden adopting a CG animation, a CD animal cinematic universe. Yeah, very true. He's always in a car with an animal sidekick. He is. He's a weird one, ain't he? But it's bland. It's fine. It's, well, it's boring. It's like, it's exceedingly boring. So I'm going to put it right in the center of D, actually. Like, at least Northern North has weird things going on that's entertaining. Shark Tale's also better. Cars 2, also better. Maybe it's an E. You know what? I think it's an E. Yeah, it goes right alongside Good Dinosaur in being boring, mediocre, and bland. Yeah, you're right. E is the good one. Plus, we're kind of spelling out an E now with all of these tier list things. Huh. Interesting. I didn't think it would be so balanced. Have you reviewed Noah's Furry Arc? I assume that is probably a real movie that exists. No, I haven't. But feel free to suggest it on our Discord. That's the official place to put it. YouTube chat is definitely the worst place to put it, just because it will literally disappear and I will not be reading it too much again. James Marsden will always be the Donut Lord. He will. And I'm sure he knows that. That Sonic thing has really segmented him. Oh, okay. How are we doing this? Oh, another strange live-action childhood movie of my past. Inspector Gadget. I really liked as a kid. Watched it all the time, and it's daring, you know? Doing so much CGI at that time, very daring for such a cartoony character that does all these funky things. It's actually quite a spectacle to see. I'm impressed with some of these CGI, well, the attempts of it, the audacity of this movie, as well as just the actual delivery of it all. Like, it is fun. Very, very, very camp, very family friendly. Very terrible if you really think on it too much. But I personally really enjoyed this movie as a kid, and maybe I was a little bit biased. It got apparently a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. Reviewers don't like it, but I think maybe families did a little more. How do they make a guy wielding machine guns wholesome? I have no idea, but somewhere along the way they did. And yeah, I wish Inspector Gadget was in the Marvel universe. Could you imagine? This was a fever dream. This was a Disney movie. Definitely deserves an A or even an A+. Whew, it wasn't that bad. Family-friendly RoboCop. Exactly the best way to put it. Yes. Absolutely. So I think that is how we'll be plotting it. Oh my god, why are you flashing? Why is the logo flashing like that? Alright. I think I agree. We don't have an A rank, but we do have an A, where I will say it is better than Monsters vs. Aliens. I personally will say that. But not as bad, but worse than Storks. Storks is a little better. That'll be my placement for Inspector Gadget. F or C. Interesting. That's a big range you've gone for. But I'll take that into consideration. Knife. Horrifying name, by the way. Ooh, this will be interesting. So, this is one of my favorite childhood movies of all time. But it's the sequel of it. So, maybe I'll be biased in the other direction for this one. This is, can you tell? Hoodwinked 2. But not the number 2. It means as well. Hoodwinked 2. Where you had this amazing, underrated indie project, unfortunately by the Weinstein Company, about a parody of fairy tales and a storyline that is narratively time-traveling back to the same point. And then they took them, upgraded the visuals a little bit, which is, I guess, nice, and then made them all agents and spies against more fairy tale villains. That is just a porn parody waiting to happen. I do not want to Google that. But I mean, how did I not notice that the first time? It's a shame because I really want to praise the original. Why, dude? What? This edit's only the worst. Okay, I've only seen it through the reviewing people. Good. Don't spend your full time on it. One of my favorite characters. Why is he designed like that? One of my favorite characters in the original was the yodeling goat singing. He has one musical number. It's very, very fun. In this, they turned him into pain humor for some random reason, and it's really upsetting. And also, they turned the rabbit villain into a prisoner as a parody of Silence of the Lambs, and it's strange. Kill Bill Granny. Why are sequels always spy movies? That's such a good question. I don't know. Why did they involve this gigantic orc scene? Why did they design it like that? Jesus Christ. Iconic, that's all I'm going to say about this movie? Nah. No, I don't think so. I don't think I want to say that. The original, absolutely, will still be influencing how I want to film films today. Ironically, though, this did start off a new thing in me. This was the very first terrible episode I ever made, so I'm happy with it. There's that one frame of a guy getting bolted and then bouncing all around the rooms. That was interesting to see. But otherwise, I don't think this deserves the title of Cool F. I think it just outright is an F. Again, tarnishing its original source material in a way that's just a little cringy, you know? Better than the Smosh movie? No. I'll put it there. Yeah, that's my best. That's my pick. Have fun, y'all. Alright, Allison, have a good one wherever you're off to. We are just about coming to a close. We ain't got many left, and I'm kind of blazing through them at this point. I hope you're enjoying it so far, though. It should be... I hope you've had good fun. I would also, actually, if you have more stream suggestions in general, although we're not ending yet, don't worry, do plug them as well on our Discord, which is also linked down in the description, or press on our Linktree app if you can't see it. And then, who knows, I want to do more, so we will see as we go. Oh, ha, ha. This, I think, was Sean Connery's last movie, one of his last, and it was a strange, weird of confusing, underdeveloped mumble. This is Sir Billi. A strange vibe where the hero of this tiny rural town is an old man who's got like a strange affinity of like all the women love him. He's got a one goat friend. He's got nephews that are really important, talking animals, and he skateboards. This feels like some sort of strange fanfic that someone wrote, and then nobody told them to stop. Wow, he can catch a hat on a hat ring. He can drive. He's Scottish. Never seen this and never will. I highly recommend it. Hello, Artsy. Welcome back. We are covering Sir Billi, which just look at it. Look at the visuals. You imagine the voice acting. Sean Connery, 100%. Just dabbled in it. He just showed up, said his lines, and left. This got a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, and understandably so. I realize Rotten Tomatoes isn't always the best source, but I think it's pretty understandable here. Look at these visuals. Who designed any of this? Why? What is this? Well, look at his face. Look at the squirrel. I can't believe this got made. And it's got this weird, like, sexualized spy intro, obviously hearkening to the James Bond element. It just feels like a sad whimper chasing for things in the past with a dated old man and a dated actor too, you know, in a way that's a little bit uncomfortable. There's some strange sexual tones. Look at that logo. You're telling me that's a good logo? No. No, it's not. No. One of the worst I've seen. Worse than Zoo Wars? Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. Worse than Zoo Wars. Every woman crushes on Billi. Strange fan fiction. That's what it is. It's just like a bunch of yes men made this for him, it feels like. I don't know. Weird one. Ooh. Oh no, this is not going to fit at all, but we'll go with it. One of our last live action adaptations to talk about. Cat in the Hat. A movie I don't think anyone wanted to be involved in. This was an element of Michael Myers being crammed into a costume after The Grinch. And then he didn't want to be in it. He didn't want to advertise for Universal Pictures Studios, whatever it is, their event over there. But he does. Stops halfway through to sell an advert. It's just a bit of a strange fever dream that just seems very odd. The expressions are strange. The characters are strange. But it's not a well-done Dr. Seuss adaptation. It killed the Dr. Seuss estate from making more movies. It is not an A+++. Do people really enjoy it that much? No way. No way. At the same time, I watched this all the time as a kid, and I wanted to watch it more. It is a strange, bonkers movie, but it's got a weird business undertone of like black-heartedness that I can't ignore. Michael Myers didn't want to be there. There's a joke about no, there's not a joke about Paris Hilton. No, I made that joke. Excuse me. It's just weird. It is S tier. Do people really enjoy this? Oh, my thing just updated this one. It's Shrek, but as Cat in the Hat. Exactly. It's his same voice. It's interesting. Maybe this is a... You know what? Alright. I'm thinking now looking at it, and I'm seeing more of the reactions. This does have a million memes in it. I think we were all just brainwashed as a child, though. Like, this movie shouldn't have gotten the praise it got. Everyone in this movie wanted to leave it behind. So, there's only one option for it. And you know that option. 9% across the board, but it's getting a cool F. How's that? Better than Spy Kids, since people really got to enjoy it. It's just so goofy. This is peak cinema, you say? Yeah, okay. Okay. Almost done here, folks. Here's a movie. I don't think I knew anyone who had seen this movie before. I'm not even entirely sure where I found it. This is The Hero of Color City. A world of crayons where they're... Are they losing color? I don't even remember what the plot is. It's a strange element of scribbles taking over the world. I can't even remember what it is. God, I've lost everything about this movie. All I remember is that the delivery and like it feels like an amateur design, and I can't explain it. Why is it in the list twice? Because I made a mistake. That's why. We'll ignore that. Cat in the Hat. This is a strange movie, clearly aimed for kids that I wasn't supposed to discover. And yet here we are, because they fully animated it. It is aimed low, and the delivery is low. It is essentially Cocomelon. You're 100% right, yeah. Craig Ferguson is in it. Wayne Brady's in it. I don't know why Wayne Brady's always in these bad voice actor movies. What's that and Food Fight? How did this happen? I have no idea, honestly. I saw the trailer of this on TV. That's all I remember. You are all living blessed lives for not having seen this all the way through. I had to watch this for 2 hours, or it felt like it, and then editing it even more, or I think I did. It was just so much. The hero of Color City. You can see exactly what they're going for already, but it just, no, we're stopping this early. I just don't want to think about it anymore. It's not even cool. It's an E. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Ugh. Toy Story ripoff. That's exactly what I called it. Yes. And then it's in the Toy Story world the whole time, so it's not even live action. No, whatever. Whatever. I've done all of those, haven't I? Yes, I have. I think I found some sort of bucket of strange, obscure, terrible movies. Because this is just like the hero of Color City. This is Legends of Oz: Dorothy's Return, a sequel to the original Wizard of Oz. It's based off of the original. It's meant to be a direct sequel to that. The same stories there. I enjoyed the element of these kooky new Wizard of Oz characters. I don't know if they'd already been written though. Like the idea of a porcelain princess seemed really interesting to me. But then again, everything else, yikes, you know? It's just, look at this. Louis Spooner, don't spam, come on. It's an interesting direction, but the delivery across the board wasn't on it. Yet the animation isn't too bad. There is a very abrupt car stop I remember halfway through. But again, this is one of those moments where you just stick something in front of your kids, you know? The backgrounds are also kind of strange, the way they're sort of like, it almost feels like the characters are green screened in. I don't understand half of what the villain is up to. Return to Oz is way better? Yes. This has Jim Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and Patrick Stewart. I don't know why these British voice actors keep running into these things, but they do. And it's just, you know. How did you find these movies? I don't know. I don't know where I got it from. Maybe I should do them more. These got mediocre views, I think. Actually, no, this one did really well because of the thumbnail, I think. Either way, quite a tarnishing of the original Wizard of Oz saga, I would argue. So, let's just put it behind us, shall we? And pretend we never had to see that kind of disaster. The plot is very much rehashed from the first film. Exactly. Not doing anything new, anything good. We'll be calling it better than Dragon Ball, worse than Addams Family. Bam. F is getting a lot of love this current time, apparently. We've done that one. Ooh. Alright, we're going into the big boys now. We've left a few out. Oh, this is our most recent terrible episode. I was planning to release it mid-December, but it ended up being after Christmas, so my apologies on that. This is the worst animated movie of all time. That is how it is known. I had no idea what I was in for. I could talk an entire monologue about the first 7 minutes of this movie, let alone all the strange directions this thing took later. There's that giant nose guy flipping around, Nazi imagery. I'm pretty sure this is just a goop fetish movie with the amount of goo physics there are in this thing. It's just an abomination. Look at that character design. Look at that character design. Look at the female character, incredibly overly sexualized. And also the main protagonist is Charlie Sheen is just so strange. The main love interest is like underage looking. It's just weird, uncomfortable. It's got a lot of business shadiness around it, and some people even say it's just full-on tax fraud. So what do I know? It is a fever dream of a film. God, I wish I noticed it in 2012. So, So just get it off my screen. I'm done with it. No happy accolades. Put it in triple F. But it's not as bad as Silver Circle. Not as bad as Sir Billi. Not as bad as... It's more funny, more entertaining than Zoo Wars. We'll call it there. It's really bad. It was just goes to show how bad these are, by the way, if I'm putting them lower. You know what? No, we'll put it there. Right next to Silver Circle. I don't even want to know if there's any Rule 34 on this thing. We're just moving on. Oh. There's only 3 left. We're in our final 3 movies. I've already done that one, though. Maybe I've missed one. I've missed one. Oh, well. I'll find a way around it at some point. I don't think I've got a button for that one, do I? Oh, no, I do. Okay, I'll find it. We're coming into another strange, terrible one I made. Again, from a list of the worst animated movies. At the same time, it looks nice. But I'm going in out of context. This is a sequel to an already bad-ish movie? I'm very confused how it all works out. It's just strange. It's a very generic, terrible episode. Because it just went through... my lights turned off. Okay, that's fine. I was worried something broke then. It's just always about real estate. It's about someone trying to buy the park. I don't... The animation is good, yes. But everything else is just mediocre, boring, and fine. So for that, I will be giving it a very quick and simple mediocre ranking. It doesn't get anything else. It's not being cool. It's not so bad that it's funny like these guys. And it's certainly not A territory. It's just fine. It is boring. It is normal. We'll be putting it in way over to the E territory. It does open to another layer. That's fine. That's a good idea. Worse than Hop? Better than Hop? Yeah. Better than Good Dinosaur and Hop. It's just bulking out the E more. Whoops. A cool F? I would not give it that. Absolutely not. No. Okay. Let's do... Hold on. What's the next one we're doing? I need to find where it is. I need to find where this is. Hold on. I gotta do some searching. We don't have one. Huh. We don't have a Slender Man button. I have forgotten, I've rendered it. I have forgotten to plug in a Slender Man trailer. So we're just going to have to imagine it. Slender Man was a horror movie. Perfect bait for terrible content, wouldn't you say? And yet, it is just more of the same. It was clearly jumping off of a video game adaptation, trying to do the new hip thing 4 years later. And then it flopped. And then it flopped. And there was all sorts of production details and controversies. I did goof. It's fine. So we'll just skim over this one and say, oops. Slender Man, also bad, but in a kind of generic horror kind of way. Was it an absolute disaster? No, everything else was fine. Just the story and the delivery was a bit naff. So we'll be giving it another E, I would imagine. Doesn't tarnish anything. It's just pretty damn bad. Keep it at that, shall we? Alright. And now, one more thing. Actually, 2 more. Let's go into one final live action, shall we? Actually, I guess they're both technically live action. It's fine. We're talking about Netflix's rise to fame in the anime industry, Death Note. the biggest, potentially one of the biggest animes there is. You got that IP, Netflix, and then you tarnished it, Netflix. You turned Light from Japanese to Seattleian. You turned him into a laughingstock rather than a genius. And you underlaid like everything with this weird, cringy American schoolboy element that it could have been interesting, mysterious, dominating, and, you know, psychological like the original is. And yet here we are, watching it again in just this terrible, trashy form. I hear they still want to make a sequel. They still want to continue it on with Elle doing some sort of stuff. But I don't know, man. I kind of feel like you just need a full-on restart. There's nice CGI that clearly got a budget with Ryuk. And actually also making this video got me into Death Note in the first place. So I'm very glad of that. I'm happy you did that for me. Thank you, movie. But everything else is just not on in any format. And it is ruined Netflix's... it was actually, no, it didn't ruin. It was the start of Netflix's very iconic anime discounts, you know. The Netflix adaptation started here with this awful, awful Death Note adaptation. And for that, with a very fitting theme tune, we'll be giving Death Note a very clear, very solid triple F. Is it worse than Titanic 2? Sure, I'll say that. Actually, here we go, do it that way around. Bam, there we go. That's as bad as it gets. You can just about see Doogal in the corner there. And now, we have waited a while for this. I know some people have been here 3 hours asking for this movie. But here we are. This is our terrible movie tier list. All with the exception of one. And what better way to describe this one final movie than with the one song I think would be most fitting for a movie such as he. We are looking at, of course, the final one, shown at the bottom with that lovely little thumbnail next to my slight duplicate mistake. It is the amazing Bulk. With Comic Sans titles, I don't think anything else would fit more than a little bit of, and a bit of, and so, and we continue with a little, and so. Look at it! Look at it! Look at what I went through! 2 hours of this! It's just stock footage! There are 4 animations of this guy! I couldn't even work out how to formulate this kind of review! I edited this for years, it felt like! The title of the text is in Comic Sans! You don't get worse than this in movie review form! This is the bottom of the barrel! I could not find a worse movie if I tried! It is not worth it! Look at him! It's all in front of a green screen! This is a student project, essentially! They had not even a single background for it! And so at the end of the day, I feel there's only one option. What else can you do with a spectacle like this, eh? So at the end of the day, you know, A tier. Oh, you know, let's be honest. It's a cool F.
But yes, there you go. That is the end of our terrible tier list stream. If you excuse the one duplicate cat in the hat at the bottom, we have Incredibles 2, Monsters vs. Aliens, Inspector Gadget, Storks, and Willie's Wonderland, as actually maybe I shouldn't have been so cruel. Secret Life of Pets, Trolls 2, and Turbo were just kind of generic. They were fine. Cars 2, Shark Tale, Norm of the North, Planes, and Donkey Kong were D tier. They were bad, but they had entertaining elements. Then you got the Fred movie, Slender Man, The Hero of Color City, Hotel Transylvania 3, Spongebob Movie 3, there's a strange correlation there, Ugly Dolls, The Good Dinosaur, Hop, and Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature, all pretty bad at E tier. Then we have Trolls 1, Home Alone, The Reboot, Dragon Ball Live Action, Dragon Ball Evolution, Hoodwinked 2, that's Legends of Oz, Return of Dorothy, Addams Family 2019, Hoodwinked 2, and the Smosh movie as god-awful F tier. Then you have the strange, ironic sub-layer of the cool F with The Amazing Bulk, Sharknado, Attack on Titan live action, Mario movie 1993, Spy Kids 3D, and Cat in the Hat. And finally, the absolute worst of all of our movies of the terrible variety in the FFF tier. We have Rising in Intensity, Titanic 2, Doogal, the American dub, Bone Alone, the Home Alone spin-off, the terrible live-action Death Note adaptation, the terrible Zoo Wars, the terrible Sir Billi, thank you Sean Connery for that one, the terrible Food Fight, worst animated movie as seen by the public, and the terrible Silver Circle as seen by presumably only me. Thank you everybody for joining me on this very terribly themed stream. We will likely be doing future tier lists in very much the same format with all the other series we've done. The best cancelled, the best scene breakdown, the best who knows what else. But thank you for joining me for the very first. If you have any notes, do please let me know. Go to the Discord down in the description. If you're not subscribed, come subscribe and all that good jazz. But if you don't mind me, I very much need to pee. I need to plan a BRB segment for a future stream, and I'm going to go have dinner. I hope you all have a lovely time. We'll be streaming again at some point in January. There is no official schedule yet, so just be around. You'll see it at some point. And then in February, I'm going to be going ham for the rest of the year, and I hope you very much enjoy it. For now, my name's been Dazz. You didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye, everybody. Well, I'll do that and then say some quick goodbyes like that. There we go. That was the official cutoff. Yeah, genuinely, thanks everyone for joining me. Bulk is S+++ tier, totally, but agreed. Yeah, this was fun. Good. Thanks for a great stream, Dazz. I'm excited to see more streams / videos from you in the future. Have a terribly great day. Thank you. Love the Pokemon Legends Arceus footage in the corner. Yeah, there's tier list maker, the website. That's what it do. Anyway, goodbye, everybody. Just wanted to say a more genuine bye at the end of that. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.